how many times do you think these damn commentators said the word stupendous this whole weekend just to really drive the point home?
Happy WrestleMania weekend,
Yeah,
everybody.
happy
We are on
WrestleMania
the
week.
tail end. Yeah, we're on the tail end of, I'm gonna say a stupendous weekend of professional wrestling, not just WWE, but if you were watching the Ring of Honor show, if you were watching AEW Rampage, if you were watching Impact, if you're watching all of this awesome wrestling that was going on this weekend, I like to think of WrestleMania as a celebration of professional wrestling. This was a really fun weekend, and for the first time in 3 years, this was a normal WrestleMania. I had friends over. I had a WrestleMania viewing party both nights. Pizza was eaten, soda was drank, fun times were had. So I hope everybody out there had a fun WrestleMania weekend. I hope you ate until you were full and just enjoyed the weekend because it was fun.
Yeah, same here, man. I certainly enjoyed myself this WrestleMania. I can honestly, this is going to sound like a crazy statement, but I think of the 3 pandemic WrestleManias that we've had so far, this has easily been the best one. Far and away.
Yes.
This has certainly been the most fun. Someone described it as the most WWE WrestleMania of all time, for better or for worse. Because we'll certainly get into some of those moments as we go through both nights. 15 motherfucking matches to go through and everything. But if you guys are new to the channel,
4 hours each show.
I know, dude. I was drained by the main event, which I couldn't care less about anyway. But smash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We are 17 people away from 1,000 somehow, some way. Hopefully we can get there soon. If you want to hear more wrestling nonsense from Tomas and I, get us into furious debates and make us this podcast is going to be interesting, my friends, because I feel like both of us are going to eat our words at some point. So Tomas knows what I'm talking about. It's an inside joke.
Oh yeah. Before we get into the main card, I have a little rant to make about we had 4 hours worth of pre-shows for both nights, and there wasn't a single match on any of this. We had matches getting bumped from night 1 to night 2. We had no United States title match. We had an Intercontinental title match on SmackDown, and we had the Andrew the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown as well. So WWE, you're going to sit there and tell me you have all this talent that is sitting in catering that would love to be out there at WrestleMania. You have 4 hours worth of pre-show, and you're not going to give us any matches?
Nope.
Look, I understand last year you were trying to keep the set a secret because it was the first match back with fans. But this year, come on.
Yeah.
No Intercontinental title, no Battle Royal, no United States title. There was a lot of talent back there. Your Ricochets, your Finn Balor's, technically your Damian Priests, your Los Lotharios, your Viking Raiders, your Mustafa Ali. I know he doesn't want to be there, but I'm sure he would like to take the payday. But there's a lot of talent sitting on their hands in catering right now that WWE just said, nope, we're not going to use you.
First ever Universal Champion and current U.S. Champion is not on this WrestleMania, mind you. And this would have been a perfect opportunity to reintroduce the Demon King. But and that's just the thing. Night 1, I feel like, was absolutely tremendous. I loved that show from top to bottom on Saturday. But if there's one nitpick I have, they were killing so much time with video package after video package that they already show on they already showed all those video packages on the pre-show. So they're just killing time here. So much so.
Don't want to. So much. Yeah, so I don't want to jump around too much, but I'm rewatching night 1 as we speak, and if there's one absolutely, why is this here? The minute Bianca Belair won the Raw Women's title, they cut to a video package for Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Why did that need to be there?
Yeah, there was a Bianca video package on Sunday, which is.
And now I understand the video packages hyping Sunday night's matches. They're trying to hype up the card for the next day, but a random Bianca Belair, a Sasha Banks package, a random, and we talked about this at Survivor Series, a random Lashley package, a random Drew McIntyre package. Why is this here? I understand stuff happened in this show where they needed time to reset, but Belair just won the title. I'm sorry, I don't care about Sasha Banks right now. You kind of stole her thunder, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Sasha Banks wins her first WrestleMania match to absolute crickets, but again, we're jumping around.
Yeah, like I said, it's WrestleMania, and we open up in a really raucous way, pun intended, as Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura come out to challenge Jimmy and Jey Uso for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It's WrestleMania, so I want to talk ring attire. I want to talk entrances. And I don't want to like sound like too much of a humbug during this, but I really liked Boogs and Nakamura's entrance at first, but then I rewatched it today, and I was like, oh, it was a fucking sponsor. The whole thing was a sponsor for Mike's Harder Lemonade. And I still like the outfits. Boogs rocked the house. Nakamura came out. Everyone's singing his theme song. I love the matching attire. But then, it's just like when I rewatched WrestleMania 31 when I got back from that Mania and I realized Triple H's whole entrance was just a Terminator
commercial.
Promotion.
Yeah, it was a preview for Arnold's new movie. So
it's like WWE are using wrestlers as billboards. And here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy Nakamura and Boogs probably got a fat check from Mike's Hard Lemonade just by wearing that attire and having that on Boogs' amps. That's cool. But it's just like they're using wrestlers as sponsorship billboards. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Anywho, Boogs and Nakamura, they're rocking the house. They're ready to challenge. Usos come out. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I really didn't care about this match until I saw the entrances. And then I was like, I want to see Boogs and Nakamura win the titles. But as we get into later this match, that would not happen. This was a fun little match.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. My only real nitpick with this, like on the surface, they do big match introductions for the tag team championships. And I'm like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're just killing time. This ring announcer, who was fantastic, by the way, she really could have announced them on the way to the ring. Samantha Irvin was her name. There we go.
Yes, good for her. I'm so fucking happy she's
Ricochet's girlfriend. So basically,
so fucking happy she got to do Mania.
Yeah, no, she's really, really great. So
because I know, and I don't want to get too much off topic. I know we've kind of it's WrestleMania, so I feel like I have every single like detail on point for this show that I want to discuss. I know they've been like shuffling around ring announcers. Greg Hamilton left the company. Mike Rome was kind of doing both shows, but we got Rome on Raw and we got Samantha on SmackDown. And I don't know what her name is on NXT. And I'm just like,
oh,
I like
God. I know who you're talking about, but like, yeah, no, great ring announcers. Mike Rome's my homie from NXT 2016. So this match, I mean, it's the opener of WrestleMania. I'm expecting a happy ending of Nakamura and Boogs holding up the tag team titles. But unfortunately, Rick Boogs gets the hot tag, and he has one Uso on his shoulders. The other Uso tries jumping on top, and I get what he was going for, like a John Cena WrestleMania 25 style strength.
Boogs is fucking strong.
He's strong,
oh
but
my God,
But on this night of all nights, WrestleMania Saturday, his leg fucking gives out and he tears his quad. Poor guy.
It's so weird though, because when I saw the spot, I was like, oh, he's selling the knee, because in the build up to this match on SmackDown, he was selling the knee. So I thought it was just more of that. And when I saw, I was like, oh, I mean, it would have been a really cool WrestleMania moment for him to fucking just Samoan drop both of the Usos, but we decided to sell the knee. And I didn't realize, it was too coincidental. So I thought it was just a work. Boogs tears his quad. Nakamura has to wrestle the rest of the match like on his own. He does a good job until he kicks out of the Samoan shot. But then he eats a super kick, and then he eats the 1D, which I love that the Usos use, the Dudley Boys finisher. And that, to me, that was a hot shot right there. I fully believe Nakamura and Boogs were supposed to win the titles tonight, but unfortunately, since Boogs went down, Usos retain, and just by that, 6 more months of the Usos being SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Especially because it's the WrestleMania opener, and you want to make the fans happy. Like, what wouldn't make the fans happier? What wouldn't make Pat McAfee happier at ringside than Nakamura and Boogs winning the titles here? So I don't think this was the planned finish. I think the Usos are going to hold the titles at least through Money in the Bank when they won the titles last year. So it was, for what it was, 2 stars. I mean, I had some fun with it, but I mean, the injury, unfortunate circumstances really derailed this match from really.
I'll give it 2 1/4, because before the injury, I thought these these four were gelling very well. I mean, say what you want about Nakamura's quote unquote booking. He looks like he's having a good time. Him and Boogs are a natural pairing, and it seemed just natural to put the tag team titles on them. But until the injury, I thought they were gelling pretty fine. And even after Boogs got injured, I thought Nakamura held his own fairly well. If the injury didn't happen, I would have liked to see this match go maybe 3 more minutes.
I would,
but it is what it is.
Let's see. This
2
match
1/4.
This match went 7. Yeah. So just a shade under 7 minutes there. So I feel like without the injury, they were like planning to go 10 minutes probably with a big hot tag sequence and the typical Uso climax. But
yeah, I think I realized Boogs was hurt when the Usos left the ring and the trainers were attending to Boogs.
I saw the
Nakamura
referee
went to go.
Out the corner of my eye, I saw the referee throw up the X, which is something that you never do unless you're in a last man standing match with Sammy Guevara. But anyway.
But it was very reminiscent of New Year's Revolution 2004 when Eugene and William Regal retained the tag team titles against Christian and Tomko. And Eugene he couldn't get up. And he had to get attended to right after the match.
Completely tore his ACL. So,
yeah.
I mean, a torn quad is different. It's a little higher up on the leg, but it's still a devastating injury. And I wish Boogs the speediest of recoveries.
Exactly.
You can imagine. But
from until then, looks like Nakamura's back on his own. And
yeah,
I'm a little worried.
That'll be a refreshing change of pace. I'm hoping. I mean, they could build up Nakamura to be a challenger for Roman Reigns. So, as if people didn't know that Roman Reigns is champion. So.
As much as, again, I think here's the thing about the Nakamura and Boogs pairing. Even though they were a tag team, Boogs is just such a good hype man that no matter where Nakamura goes, it's not like Boogs is holding him down.
Yeah.
It's not Nakamusev.
No. Nakamusev. You want to talk about random tag teams. Well, that was that felt like a feud that just was plucked out of thin air. This is a feud that was plucked out of thin air that I didn't really care for, but it's been going on since the beginning of January. We got Drew McIntyre going one-on-one with Happy Corbin, and I'm just sitting here wishing that they thrust McIntyre back into the World Championship scene as soon as humanly possible, because this guy...
Excuse me, did you say this January? No, this has been going on since December.
Has it really? Oh, shit.
It's been going on since December.
You're right. You're right, because I was thinking day one. And just January. So
it started in December because after Survivor Series, that's when Corbin and McIntyre started fucking with each other.
Yeah.
And then they had 2 pay-per-view matches between McIntyre and Madcap Moss. I understood the one at day 1. But then when this spilled into Elimination Chamber, I'm like, okay, do we really need this much? If you are stretching out this feud, it's like you put this feud in a taffy machine and they are just milking and stretching it and it's going way too far. And it's like, this could have ended on SmackDown, let alone WrestleMania. But other than that, Drew McIntyre, as we know, is a solid as fuck worker. Happy Corbin, whether you like it or not, is a really good worker.
He's
inside the
heel.
ring and character-wise. I mean, I was going to the garage.
Love the whole arc. Sorry to cut you off, but I love the whole arc of Happy Corbin. Like, just going from King of the Ring, and then he, his wife leaves him. He loses all of his funds, like to Bitcoin or whatever the gimmick was. But then when SummerSlam was in Vegas, after he loses to Big E, after trying to steal the Money in the Bank briefcase, he gambles every little last penny he has, and he ends up winning millions. So, I'm just waiting for Cameron Grimes to come up and join him on the main roster. See what happens with that sort of stable. But I mean,
and the thing with Corbin as a heel, I was going outside to get a drink, and as I come back in, I had no idea that Happy Corbin made the joke about McIntyre's mom on Friday. And I go, what? And I was like in the other room and I just yelled, what the fuck? Did they really just go there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, did Madcap Moss really just make a joke about McIntyre's dead mom? And my friends said, no, that was Happy Corbin. I'm like, why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think something tells me Drew McIntyre didn't just say, oh, yeah, go ahead, make a joke about my mom who died of cancer.
It teetered on the lines of when Paige made a joke about Charlotte's younger brother when he passed away afterwards. Like, it's very like, tasteless. But
okay, I'm going to quote Monster because I was listening to his review earlier. did they really just use that to get last minute heat on Corbin?
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like there's a million other ways. It's Corbin.
This
Let
crowd
him
knew
get
that
creative.
this crowd knew that even though Corbin was undefeated as Happy Corbin going into this, everybody knew he was cannon fodder for Drew McIntyre. He's going to go right back into the world title scene. But give these two credit where it's due. For a match that I did not care about in the slightest going in, and saying this as a big Drew McIntyre fan too, I really wasn't all that into the feud.
Also, want to make note that apparently McIntyre was supposed to have a special entrance.
He was.
But yeah, I guess the night before, they just could not decide on something. McIntyre didn't like it, so they just fucking scrapped the entire thing.
They just scrapped it.
Which, honestly, I'm okay with that.
It's okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, Drew's only big entrance has been with the drummers, right? At 35 when he fought Roman.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you're going to do a special entrance with McIntyre, I want it to be him going into a world title match, not this.
Yeah. for a feud like this, no way. But, Tomas, give these two credit where it's due, because these two, this is a good hoss fight. I mean, it got really good near the end. Drew was throwing Corbin all around the ring. Corbin had an extended little heat segment. These two got 9 minutes of action. Madcap Moss was pulling Corbin out of the ring when Drew was counting down for the Claymore, which I always love. And seeing that crowd, like, this is a crowd that was teetering on booing Drew McIntyre at last year's WrestleMania, which I've never understood. But seeing him do the countdown and everybody do it in unison with him, vindication for me as a McIntyre fan. I'm like, this is gonna be the guy. This is gonna be the top babyface on SmackDown for the foreseeable future. But yeah, so you get to towards the end of the match, Corbin goes for his end of days. McIntyre kicks out, and Michael Cole's like, nobody's ever kicked out of the end of days, and he screams it as loud as possible. And I'm like, bullshit. I don't buy that for a minute. I think some people kicked out of it in NXT.
No.
Is that true?
He's right.
Fuck.
No one had ever kicked out of end of days.
Wow.
And when because when he hit the spot, I was scared. I was like, fuck, Corbin's going to win. Yeah. And when he kicked out, I think that's the first thing I said was, has anybody ever kicked out of that finisher? And, you know, my friend, shout out to my friend Sean, who's like, I like to call him the Poindexter of wrestling because he has all of his facts like straight. Yeah. He says like, nope, I don't think anyone's ever kicked out of that. I'm like, damn, honestly, I kind of like that though, because you don't see finishers get protected that often anymore.
Michael Cole is correct for once. I thought he was full of it, because I could have sworn, like, at least around 2016, someone had kicked out of the end of days. Like, remember when Corbin was challenging for the WWE title, like, you know, here and there? He had like a triple threat match on SmackDown with AJ and Dolph or something. Like, I could have sworn somebody kicked out of the end of days there, but
maybe he hit the move and somebody broke up the pin, but I don't think anyone's ever cleanly kicked out of that finisher before.
Which is fine. You know, it's, you know, I'm going to trust that. So, Drew gets back up. And it was at
that moment I realized, I'm like, despite how you feel about Corbin, they've actually built this guy and protected him pretty well to be, you know, a threat. I don't get why, you know, despite all the shitty gimmicks and despite how everyone's felt about him, how is this guy, except for that feud with Rollins, not gotten, you know, world title shots against baby faces, because he would make them look fucking good.
People forget that he's a former Mr. Money in the Bank too, and he lost it to Jinder fucking Mahal. But
so it's like, I'm right with you. Give Happy Corbin all the credit in the world. He's a bona fide star.
Yeah, Drew certainly, I feel like, carried this match if I had to pick. He hits the Future Shock DDT and finally plants the Claymore on him to end this feud. It's done. No more Happy Corbin. I don't want to see this match again. I don't care to see it. I was like, you know, not too bad. 3 stars. 3 stars. I really enjoyed it.
Definitely. I'm going to give it 2 3/4. It was really fun, and I enjoyed what we got. I know McIntyre. Here's the thing. We've seen McIntyre and Corbin fight a bunch of times on Raw and SmackDown, and they've always delivered.
Yeah.
There is one thing I've been hearing floating around. I could give 2 fucking shits less. Apparently, they're teasing a breakup between him and Madcap Moss, and I'm like,
they were teasing it in the match.
Care.
They were teasing it in the match. There was a point where Madcap Moss was on the apron, and Happy Corbin was like, "Why are you celebrating? Get down!" You know, like he wanted to hit the ropes or something.
If that's the next, if we're gonna see something like that on SmackDown, a Moss face turn, I could care less.
Well, now we can tell dad jokes, and they'll be catered to the crowd to actually try and make them laugh, and not for heat, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a gimmick great for the kids, but, I mean, leave that for SmackDown. Don't put that on pay-per-view. But Drew takes his sword, Angela, which he named after his mom, of course. He, goes over to Madcap Moss, who's on the apron, and he goes to thrust the sword at Madcap Moss, slices down, and, cuts through the ropes, Like, is he trying to kill this man? Like, suspend my disbelief here? Okay, he's trying to commit live murder on pay-per-view in front of, whatever number they gave. But it was probably, 60,000-something people in the building that night. So, 60,000 plus eyewitnesses.
I'm just going to say it. I know everyone kind of shit on this. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It's WrestleMania. Let them. Just let them. How often, when are you ever going to say, I saw someone slice the first 2 ropes in half at WrestleMania?
Right.
Just let them, guys.
You never see that.
And as we go into night 2, I'm going to tell everyone this right now. When it's WrestleMania, I know a lot of wrestling fans have that pole shoved right up their ass. For one night, just take it out.
Give the ring crew something to do during the video package for this next match, Tomas.
Oh boy, here we go. The match. This is the definition of a heat magnet. You have Rey and Dominic Mysterio teaming up to face The Miz and his tag team partner, Logan Paul.
Can I start? Can I start with this?
Go for it.
So the Miz on Raw is picking on the Mysterios, right? And he's like, oh, I have a tag team partner now, a new tag team partner. And I'm like, did they re-sign John Morrison? Because that would be great, because I'm a big John Morrison fan. And then he's like, here's my tag team partner for WrestleMania, Logan Paul. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, because why team with John Morrison when you can team with a fucking abortion? That's what Logan Paul is. I don't care what anybody says. He's terrible. Terrible human being. But
yeah, no. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I agree with you. I don't like Logan Paul. I think he needs to be eradicated from the face of him, and his brother need to be eradicated from the face of this planet. I don't care for either of them. They are both terrible people. And I could sit here all night and just thrash and mash and shred these guys up into tiny little bits and sprinkle them on my salad and just devour it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, and I hate to admit this, and I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say. The fact that me and you are sitting here absolutely trashing Logan Paul, that's what the WWE wants. They know we don't like him, and they know he gets heat. Now, if we were all on our phones, going to get something to eat, getting merch, going to the bathroom every time Logan Paul was in the ring or on screen, just like The Miz, then that would be a problem. But the guy gets heat. And we were talking about this a lot at my Mania party, that unfortunately it's negative publicity, but it's the clout from that negative publicity that makes these guys successful.
It's just like Eric Bischoff said in his book, controversy creates cash. And unfortunately, Logan Paul, he walks down to the ring and he has the rarest Pokemon card of all time, wearing it around his neck. And I'm like, that's money right there. Yeah. That's worth a lot.
Yeah. Fuck him. But
tell it like it is.
Okay, the real way to make the Paul brothers not successful is for us to ignore them. The unfortunate thing is that's never going to happen.
Right.
So I don't like these guys. I hate them with all my heart. I do not wish death on a lot of people, but
no,
if they got hit by a bus, I would not exactly be crying. But all that aside, it's The Miz, who we know is one of the greatest characters of our generation.
Yeah,
he knows how to get heat. We knew that he was going to be carrying this match. And I'm going to focus on the positives of this match. The minute Rey and Dominic sprung up from the stage together, I smiled. That was so fucking cool.
And Dominic Mysterio's gear was inspired by Eddie Guerrero's old school ECW look that he had back in the early to mid 90s. it was like, you know, you had the tassels and the American flag draped over it. It was like the whole nine. And on Twitter, the WWE on Fox Twitter account put a side-by-side comparison between Dominic and Eddie, and the caption just read, "For Eddie." And I'm like, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Dominic. Pay tribute to your biological father that way, you know?
Yeah, and everybody who's saying, oh, the WWE ain't doing shit with Ray. They need to do better with Ray. How are they treating Ray like this? Everybody remember, Ray is nearing the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Ray is the greatest masked wrestler of all time, as Vic Joseph put it. He's the GOAT. Ray has nothing left to prove. Ray is fortunately in a position where he is healthy enough that he gets to wrestle with his son.
Exactly.
Let him do it.
Yeah.
If this is what Ray wants to do for the rest of his career, fucking let him.
I'm down. They won the tag titles last year. So, I mean, he has nothing left to prove to you guys. I mean, Rey Mysterio, one of my family's favorite wrestlers for sure. So,
Ray and Dom are coming to the ring together, and they have the biggest smiles on their face. And it's like, you know what? Put everything aside, your Logan Pauls, your WWE bullshit, all of that. Seeing Ray and Dominic come down the aisle together at WrestleMania, that's all I need. I don't care who they wrestled. They get to wrestle together.
They do. Dominic was stoked to be there, and I'm so happy for him as his, as his first WrestleMania there. So,
and real quick before we go into this match, I'm not trying to name drop, but I was with my friend, and his girlfriend just randomly says, I know somebody who's friends with Dominic. And I go, What? And she pulls up his Instagram, and her friend had posted on his Instagram, hey, check out my homie, and tags Dom's personal Instagram, kick Logan Paul's ass tonight. And I'm like, is he from San Diego? She goes, oh, yeah. She knows him, like, grew up with him in San Diego. I'm like,
wow.
Okay.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's a small fucking world.
Yeah.
So,
that is wild,
that was
man.
Cool.
Mutual friends,
that was cool. I'm not dropping any names. That's not the point of this. I just thought it was really fucking funny and coincidental.
Yeah.
And I've been friends with this person for like 6 years, and I just found this.
This match went 12 minutes, and this was actually really good. I think all four of them, yes, even the abortion, held his own in the ring, and he felt like, I hate to give him credit, but he feels like such a natural in there, such a natural heel. Like
natural heel, yes.
He's hitting natural three amigos on Rey Mysterio, and the three amigos actually are not that bad. Like, you know, he does it, and he goes over there, he does the Eddie shimmy on the top rope, misses the frog splash, thank goodness. So, I mean,
see my eye twitching.
I know, I see it. Listen, I hate Logan Paul just as much as you do, but as a critic, I have to be fair. He was not bad. He was not terrible in the ring. So, I mean,
he's no Bad Bunny.
He's no Bad Bunny.
As we get into night 2, he's no Johnny Knoxville.
No, no, he's not even close. Not even close.
Okay, fine. I'll meet you halfway. I'm giving 95% of the credit to this match to the Mysterios and the Miz, and I'll throw Logan that fucking 5%.
Yeah. Throw in that 5. Yeah, absolutely. So, Ray and Dominic hit a double 619 on Logan Paul, which must have put a big-ass smile on Tomas's face and mine and everybody else, for sure. Big shit-eating grins. Miz
also, great camera work. Yeah, I saw out of the corner of my eye, Miz made the blind tag. I'm like, oh, fuck, that was so subtle.
It was a subtle seamless blind tag. It was a clean-ass heel move there. So, Miz hits a skull-crushing finale on Rey Mysterio, and he pins Rey in the middle of the ring clean as a whistle. Miz and his abortion tag team partner win clean at WrestleMania.
No, they didn't. The Miz won.
I know. The Miz won, yeah.
The Miz won.
The Miz actually teamed with Chris Benoit tonight. So,
Miz teamed with Becky. Oh, no. Miz didn't team with Becky. Becky had a match later on that night. Can't pull that one.
With Vacant. I love that. But, so after this match, you get something kind of weird. Like, they're celebrating in the ring, and then the Miz just has this turn, and he's like, looks over at Logan Paul, taking all the glory, hits a skull-crushing finale on his tag partner, and The Miz became the biggest babyface on this entire card. Even with a big return that we'll talk about in a few minutes. The Miz was the biggest babyface on this show because he hit the skull-crushing finale on Logan Paul.
First of all, I'm so mad that I missed The Miz with his evil look to Logan Paul. I looked down on my phone for 2 seconds, and then everyone around me was like, "Oh, here it comes!" And I looked up, and it was skull-crushing finale. And when I saw the replay, I'm like,
good.
"Fuck, I missed it." He did it so subtly too.
So good.
Logan Paul does not sell the skull-crushing finale.
Yeah, he just gets right back up, and he's like, "Miz, what'd you do that
right
for?
Back up.
What'd you do
the skull-crushing finale, the same move that defeated John Cena at WrestleMania 27 to retain Miz the WWE Championship. Logan Paul just shrugs off like it was nothing.
Yeah, because he thinks he's a bigger superstar than everybody else. But
Also, the Miz jumps into the crowd at this random guy, and I said that guy should have been Miz's tag team partner.
No, you know who should have been Miz's tag team partner was John Morrison. But WWE thinks differently. Well, fuck you for releasing him, guys. He's too good. So, I hate to give this match this higher rating, but this was fun. 3 1/4. I loved the Mysterios work in this. Miz is a great heel, and, Logan Paul hit a few good suplexes in there. So,
I don't want to give it that high of a rating. I enjoyed it the same level as I did McIntyre and Corbin, 2 3/4. It was all around fine. It was, I love Dom, and I'm so happy of how well he's been doing. He's still a little sloppy in there, but he's getting better.
Dom looks the best he's ever been. I don't think Dom has had a better match than this. Just on a personal, on a personal level for him. I did love his debut match with Seth Rollins more than this at SummerSlam a couple of years back, but he certainly held his own, and he looked like he was a lot more comfortable in there than he's ever been.
And Dom, in a weird case of positive, he was lucky enough to debut in the Thunderdome, so he has had time to kind of work on his craft. Develop. And, because here's the thing, in my honest opinion, if you would have thrown Dom out there, if SummerSlam 2021 or 2020 was in front of people, I feel like that guy would have got booted out of the building. And his career wouldn't have been able to get to where it is. But luckily, he's been able to develop his skills. And near the end of the match, there was a nasty bump when Miz body slammed Dom onto Ray to break up the pin. And Dom's head just collided with his dad's head. I was like, "Oh fuck, that was nasty."
Absolutely nasty. But speaking of high ceiling wrestlers, before we get to this next match, I would like to refer to the fact that Stephanie McMahon was introduced to the audience at this point, and she comes out and she introduces Gable Steveson, Olympic gold medalist. He's only 21 years old. He'll be 22 next month. He comes out there. He's got the charisma of a freaking TV tray right now, but he's got a lot of time to develop. He's very young, so I think the WWE certainly sees a lot of potential in this guy in terms of in-ring ability, but in terms of the promo skills,
we were discussing this a lot too when he was coming out. This guy has the potential, but they're putting a lot of pressure on him. Mm-hmm. No developmental, no NXT. They are literally just going to throw him out there, and they're expecting him to be the next Kurt Angle.
Yeah, Kurt Angle worked a lot of dark matches. Kurt Angle worked a lot of dark matches when he was initially signed with Owen Hart, with Sean Stasiak, people like that. So you don't just thrust him out to TV, and they've been doing a good job so far. So far, so good. But I'm scared they're
even Kurt Angle struggled a little in his first couple months in WWE. If Kurt Angle struggles, then I'm scared for Steveson. I hope he doesn't. I hope he succeeds. And also I thought it was funny that they drafted him in October, but then they couldn't bring him on because the kid needed to finish school.
That's right.
Gable Steveson can't challenge for the WWE Championship right now because he needs to finish his homework. And I'm not making fun of him. Good on you, Steveson. Get that degree first and then go to WWE.
Kids, stay in school if you're watching this with this, with some of these profane words I'm throwing out there. But Here we go, Tomas. One of the matches of the weekend. I'm so excited to talk about this. Becky versus Bianca for the Raw Women's title, a match that's been built up since August and SummerSlam when Becky pinned Bianca in 32 seconds on her big return. This was probably the, like, in terms of long-term build, this has been, like, you know, the most pent-up story that WWE has had. Yes, even more than Brock and Roman. This was the longest-running story since SummerSlam. This has been building
When
up.
Bianca Belair won the Elimination Chamber in February, I was so happy that, first of all, they didn't thrust it to Alexa Bliss, who hadn't been there in 6 months. But I was just like, I knew the minute she won the chamber that Belair and Lynch was going to be the most organically built match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
No part-timers, no returns, no surprises. Two full-time solid workers that have been on Raw that are going to help go out there and have a great match. And I'm going to jump the ball right now. They fucking delivered. But first,
20 minutes.
These entrances.
Yes.
These entrances.
Becky's entrance was very weird because, like, she got a full-on, like, then now forever together style signature video package.
She got an MCU intro. We were in the Beckyverse for a minute. It was Becky Lynch into the Beckyverse.
Yeah, no, it's Becky Lynch, Love and Thunder, also starring Seth Rollins. But I need to relax here. But Bianca Belair got maybe my favorite entrance all weekend. She comes out there and she's got a full-on marching band playing her theme music down to the ring, and she is just, I mean, she's over like nobody's business. And honestly,
to quote good mic work, she is over like Rover.
Mm-hmm. Over like Rover, indeed. And honestly, I want a marching band entrance every year because, like, those remixes with marching bands and the theme music. Anybody remember John Cena, WrestleMania 24? That entrance freaking slapped. This entrance slapped. Freaking loved it. The match itself.
Becky Lynch also came out with a brand new look. If you saw Raw last week, Bianca Belair chopped some of Becky Lynch's hair off. So she had to go and get her whole hair redone. And it looks good. Her whole getup, you want to talk about jokes, I was calling her Becky Gaga the entire time because she looked a lot like Lady Gaga.
Relax.
But the whole presentation was fantastic. I love Bianca Belair's ring attire. This felt like such a big match. If Bianca Belair's WrestleMania match last year was compared to this, okay, I think I saw it on Twitter best. Look at Bianca Belair's faces between each matches. Bianca Belair last year, she thought she could do it. This year, she knew she could do it. The confidence in her face in this match. And those entrances alone, I knew this match was going to be fucking awesome. And right from the get-go, it was, because they tried to imitate the ending to SummerSlam, and they went for the handshake. Becky Lynch goes for the manhandle slam. Bianca Belair, there's a lot of B's in this match, goes for the kiss of death. It gets reversed into a manhandle slam. 1, 2, and Belair, thank God, kicks out.
That was a
my heart stopped.
Freaking near fall.
My heart stopped for a second.
So many amazing near falls in this. Becky's hitting Bexploders everywhere. They bring the steel steps into the equation. There's a callback to Bianca's kayfabe throat injury with the steel chair thing. I mean, it's
Bianca Belair
awesome.
hits a feat of strength, suplexing Becky Lynch on the outside of the ring. Becky Lynch hits a nice guillotine leg drop off the top rope, but Belair kind of like ricochets off of the ropes, and her legs land hard on Lynch's like backside. But nothing is nastier than the move that Lynch hit from the top rope.
The Molly go round.
She looks like she's going for like a Molly go round, but maybe not with the spinning head scissors, maybe like a sit down senton like Rey Mysterio. But she misses, and her boot connects with Belair's right here under the eye.
Right on the orbital bone.
I saw the spot, but then today when I was rewatching it, I saw it in slow motion, and she fucking connected so hard with that.
Yeah, that left a shiner that is still on Bianca Belair today at the time of recording, Tuesday, April 5th.
So when I saw that, the first thing I thought was, poor Belair is going to have to wrestle the rest of this match with one eye, because it immediately started swelling.
Oh, yeah, it was not good. Not good at all. But Belair, because she's a tough tough cookie. She gets back up and she hits a what looked like a glam slam. Becky is reversing with that Molly go round, as you mentioned. Bianca gets back up and she hits that 450 splash off the middle rope. Very close near fall there. And, like, this crowd is so into it. They're chanting, "This is awesome." And they're right. They're right. It was one of the best matches all weekend, for sure. Okay, one of my favorite spots in the match, I could have sworn this is where they were going to go full-on WWE. Becky hits a manhandle slam on exposed steel stairs on the outside. The referees count as at 8. At 8.5, Bianca scurries back to her feet, counts 9, and then right back in. And Becky is exasperated that she cannot put Bianca away. And I was
with my fucking emotions right there.
And right after that, Lynch wanted one more manhandle slam. Belair springboards off the middle rope, which in a picture-perfect counter hits the KOD. Clean 3 count. New champ. Loved it. Loved it.
4.5 stars. 4.5 stars. That was an excellent match. This was when you book the. Okay, I think this is the best phrase to describe all weekend. WWE is good when they want to be good, but I don't want to give this match credit to WWE. Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch solidified themselves as the motherfucking stars that they are, and Bianca Belair solidified herself as a megastar on this show.
So
I love her, and I'm so happy she got the title back. Now, WWE, don't fuck up the second run like you fucked up the first one.
No.
You have a star on your hands.
And I have a request as well in that front. We all want to cheer for Becky Lynch, right? So can we just make her a babyface again? Because she is so much better at doing that. I mean, I get it.
But
it looks like she's having fun. It looks like she's having fun, and this was all to put over Bianca on the biggest stage possible. And I feel like Becky wanted to put Bianca Belair over, which is good on her part. Good for making new stars for the future. But Becky's too good of a babyface. And if the plan is for Becky versus Ronda when we go in Los Angeles, by the way, everybody watching this, all our wrestling fans watching this, Tomas and I will be there in Los Angeles next year. So if anybody wants to say what's up, you're more than down, at least for me. But
oh yeah, stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a lot of WrestleMania plans for next year. But think of it this way: Bianca Belair, 2 years in a row, has won a main event caliber match against 2 of the 4 horsewomen that WWE has to offer, and has won championships. If that's not how you build a star, I don't know what is.
She's beaten Bayley too many times, so there's only one left. One horsewoman.
There's only one left, and I was in attendance, and she should have fucking won that night. Anywho, Bianca Belair is our new Raw Women's Champion.
Hey, speaking of main events, here we go.
This is it. Seth Rollins versus a handpicked opponent by Mr. McMahon.
It was Marco Stunt.
For weeks.
It was Marco Stunt, obviously.
There was so many. Okay, so first of all, let's get into the kayfabe storyline. Seth Rollins has been fighting to get onto WrestleMania. He tried to win the WWE Championship. It didn't work. He tried to win the Universal Championship. It didn't work. Him and Kevin Owens tried to win the Raw Tag Team titles. It didn't work. Rollins straight up went out to ringside and just destroyed the set in hopes to get fired.
He was
so desperate.
So actually, the original plan was for Seth Rollins to go into this WrestleMania as the WWE champion, but when Roman Reigns tested positive for COVID-19 right before day 1, all those plans just kind of, steamrolled all the way up to this point. And yeah, exactly. So, like 2 weeks before Mania, Rollins had his Bret Hart 1997 moment after he lost to AJ. Screams, "This is bullshit!" Tears everything up. Love this. Love Seth Rollins. He's great.
So Rollins went to go have a little meeting with Vince McMahon, and Vince just said, if you're wanting to be in WrestleMania, all you had to do was ask. And Rollins goes on to have one of the greatest episodes I've ever seen in my life. He's jumping on the table. He's talking to the fossil on Mr. McMahon's wall for whatever reason. He said, "I told you so." I'm like, have you had conversations with this fossil before?
He became he became basically 35-year-old Norman Osborn from Spider-Man 1 at that point. Like, he jumps up on the table, and it looks like legitimately he was on Norman Osborn's glider. It was
Somebody Photoshop
so
that now, please.
So
he looks at Mr. McMahon and says, "We did it," and I'm like, "What?"
Vince did not ruin night 2 yet, Seth. You're a little ahead of the game. So
so Rollins makes his way to the ring, and he is accompanied by, I thought it was a children's choir.
It is.
No, it was, because I'll say I
they look like middle school kids.
I looked at them and I'm like, what the fuck are they wearing? They were singing Rollins' theme song, at least attempting to sing Rollins' theme song.
They're wearing
Rollins
the drip.
comes out there in the drippiest drip that has ever dripped. I like Rollins doesn't even know who his opponent is, and this is the most anticipated match of the night. So now that we're here, rumors have been running wild like Hulkamania, brother. People have been saying it's going to be Shane McMahon. People were saying it's going to be Goldberg. People were saying the Undertaker's there. He might suit up for one last match.
Never say never.
People were saying it's going to be Bayley. People were saying that Veer Mahan was going to make his debut one night early and challenge Rollins.
So glad it wasn't Veer.
So many rumors. But there was one rumor that people believed, people didn't believe, people said it's too good to be true.
I believe
people saying it's all a work. There are people saying, no, this guy is not leaving. He's going to start a faction with Ring of Honor. He's not going anywhere. This is not going to happen. People were even saying it could be The Fiend. Then
sure
the lights
enough,
go down.
Lights go down. I'm ready now. We'll tear this roof off for the town. A bunch of pyro goes off, and sure as hell, there's only one royal family.
More. Wrestling has more than one royal family.
And it's, yeah.
Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare.
Mike Rome.
AEW.
Homie
returns.
Announced him as American Nightmare. And, like, he comes out. Kingdom is blaring all over the PA system. Cody is hyped.
He rises from the stage.
And here's a little bit of a detail that I didn't notice until I rewatched it. So, crowd is here, about to blow, the lyrics go. The camera's right on the entrance. Crowd is here, about to blow. Right after about to blow, Cody rises up, and then the crowd blows. Literally, they exploded. They were so happy to see Cody Rhodes. Like, I couldn't believe it.
They have the graphic up. They have, I've watched his entrance more times than I care to admit.
Yeah.
He's making his way to the ring. Mike Rome says it. And his opponent from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 222 pounds, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And Corey Graves with the line of the weekend, from undesirable to undeniable. Mm-hmm. The prodigal son has returned.
Yeah. Chills, man. My heart was pounding. I had goosebumps. That's what WrestleMania is all about to me, those moments.
Holy shit.
This is a top 10 maybe moment for me, because think about it. Big fucking deal. This is an EVP of the rival promotion. Like, the shit he created. And now he's back on enemy territory, so to speak. Wrestling is, I'm going to quote Fall Out Boy when I say this. Wrestling ain't a race. It's a goddamn arms race now. Like, everybody was heading to AEW. Everybody who was disgruntled with WWE. Mox, Danielson, Keith Lee, Tony Storm now. Everybody went one way. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly. Everybody went over to the promised land. Nobody was coming the other way until Cody Rhodes. So I think this is going to be a big game changer for a lot of reasons.
6 years ago. Oh, and also in case anyone, I know this is Tuesday at this point. Cody Rhodes has signed a multi-year deal with WWE.
He has.
This is not a one and done. This is not a one-year deal. He's here.
He's here full time. He worked the dark match after Raw last night too. So it's gonna be a big name.
Yeah. And then finally everything. And then the other line that got me, that Rollins, that a certain son of a plumber is looking down with a huge grin on his face, and Rollins, Rhodes' star pupil and Seth Rollins is going one-on-one with Dusty Rhodes' baby boy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
It's a great analogy. The star that left them in the dust
I'm gonna
is
give
finally back.
props. I'm going to give props to Byron Saxton and Corey Graves. I feel like they don't get enough credit. They called this moment better than any other commentator ever could have.
Oh yeah, because they knew how big of a deal it was. We all knew how big of a deal it was, but they had to put it over as such. Cody was shedding some old skin, as Corey Graves called it, when he hit that cartwheel and did the Stardust pose, and everybody was like, "Oh no, Vince is gonna bury him. He's gonna be in the Stardust gear." And I'm like, listen, why would Cody Rhodes go back to be Stardust? Like
Cody was simply giving a wink to the crowd. He was pulling the curtain back just a little, saying, "Guys, I know what I used to be. I'm not that anymore." And like Graves said, Saxton said that Cody was showboating, and Graves said he's not showboating. He's shedding his skin. 6 years ago, WrestleMania was in Dallas, and Stardust was in the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. 6 years later, he's back.
Made his big return, baby. That's it. I love that.
Now that has all settled in, this match was fucking phenomenal.
Took a while for this crowd to calm down, for sure, but this was like an old school, like NWA Harley Race style, like main event match. This is like a Triple H WrestleMania match almost. It's like I can't really compare this to any specific match, really, because if it stands on its own like it does, it tells you how freaking awesome it is.
It was excellent. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. In the middle of the match, Rollins does go up to Rhodes and says, "Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch." And I liked it.
Vince,
I thought it was fun.
Okay, I'm going to harken this back to a year ago when you said something similar. Vince, why do you got to pick fights? Like, you don't have to pick fights all the time. Just let us enjoy the moment.
I don't think Vince told Rollins to say that. I am
totally
100%.
Did. He totally
I don't
did.
think so. I think Rollins said that on his own.
I know Seth is a WWE patriot and all that stuff, and he's going to be a lifer over there, but, like, there's no way he said that without any sort of pull.
Colby Lopez would never say that. Seth Rollins, the visionary, totally would.
Absolutely. But, there were a couple of clunky spots in this match. There was not as seamless of a transition into a buckle bomb on the outside as I would have liked. Seth was sent over the freaking announce table by a suicide dive, though, which was freaking awesome.
Am I the only one who thought this match was stiff? I thought this match was fucking stiff.
It was so stiff. Seth was hitting like those little kicks on Cody, and they looked soft, but like Cody's forehead was all bruised, and apparently he gets backstage, and Brandy was like, "What happened to your face?"
Rollins is stiffer than people realize, and I think Cody matched Rollins' stiffness.
Yeah.
Because I've heard tons of stories in the ring where they say if your opponent is being stiff, you got to be stiff right back to them.
Oh,
and I noticed that definitely in this match. I had a little issue with Rollins' Falcon Arrow. That felt not as smooth as it usually is. Like I said, I don't want to say Cody was hesitant to take Rollins' offense, but you also got to remember that Cody has been wrestling a totally different style the past 6 years. It's going to take him a minute to get back into the WWE system. This is the biggest transition for a wrestler, in my opinion, since AJ Styles.
Yeah, I loved the backwards Falcon Arrow too that Rollins did off the top rope, sort of in a dragon sleeper. It was
oh my god,
such a sick looking move. And then Cody comes off the top and hits a Cody cutter, which is a great near fall as well.
Which they called it the Cody cutter. I was so happy.
They did.
They didn't call it a diving cutter or a springboard. No, that's the Cody cutter.
It's not the diamond cutter, as QT Marshall would, say and steal from DDP. But
the only other nitpick I have with the match is Cody did an awkward moonsault, which was very weird because I know Cody is more than capable of doing a nice moonsault, but he kind of tried to do like a moonsault into like a cross body. I don't even think Rollins knew what he was doing, so he caught him pretty awkwardly.
Yeah.
But anywho, I don't want to nitpick this match too much because this was one of those matches. This one and Edge and Styles the next night where I just sat back and I want to soak all this in.
Yeah, this was the best match all weekend for me, at least. Rhodes hits the crossroads, holds on to Seth, hits a second crossroads, then he's going for a third one. Let Seth go for a minute, and then he hits one of my favorite moments all weekend, aside from his return. He hits his father's bionic elbow. He's jucking and jiving, and it's just... oh, it's so endearing. It's so awesome to see that. And Cody hits one more insurance crossroads, and he gets the academic 3 count. Cody Rhodes is going to be WWE champion within the year. You can mark my words on that for sure. But this is, I mean, I don't want to say this is a 5-star match because there were a couple of clunky spots here and there, but this was...
it's 4.5 stars for me.
Easy 4.5 stars. Match of the night.
But think about it. We got 2 4.5-star matches back to back.
We did.
The ratings are staying the same. After rewatching those matches today, Rhodes and Rollins is a smidge better. Not for Cody's return, but they got a little more time, and I like their offense just a little more.
Mm-hmm. Seth did not hit a curb stomp.
And also, did anybody notice that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins followed each other's matches? Or is that just me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
And they both took
totally. They both come out with ridiculous drip for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Raw too much, but I'm so happy to see that this is not over.
It's not. It's not. I think
I want to see these guys wrestle more, but I want to see Cody wrestle everybody.
Oh, Cody has so many dream matches.
I want to see Cody wrestle The Miz. I want to see Cody wrestle Edge. I want to see Cody wrestle Roman Reigns. I want to see Cody wrestle Owens. I want to see Cody wrestle Shinsuke Nakamura. I want to see Cody wrestle Ricochet. I want to see him wrestle everybody.
Hold on, you're forgetting one. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Well, that would be...
I want to see Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. I want to see Cody Rhodes versus Riddle.
You know they're going to do Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at least once throughout this run.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, match of the weekend for sure. I do want to acknowledge before we move on, big freaking deal for Cody Rhodes, and he kissed the ring mat as he always did on the indie circuit, and he thanked the referee for officiating his match, which was awesome, and the referee responded. Yeah. Cody, a lot of people say he has an ego, and he does, but he is very respectful for the business. So
let's get the elephant out of the room.
Yeah, are you ready to eat your...
one to say it.
You're going to eat your words right now.
6 months ago, no, not even 6 months ago, almost a year ago.
It was a double or nothing.
I sat on this podcast, and I screamed at the top of my lungs that I hate Cody Rhodes. I did not like how he was booked on AEW. I was getting sick of his promos. And I'll admit, I never was that way towards John Cena, but I was that way towards Cody Rhodes. I don't want to sit here and say I apologize, but I think seeing Cody in this environment and seeing how much of a big deal this is, you're right. I can eat my words.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what Cody's going to do in WWE. Not saying it's going to be perfect. There are already people saying that, like, Cody's promos are nice, but how long until the WWE fans get sick of it?
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell for sure. But
I think Cody needs to be handled the same way Drew McIntyre is. Book him in a high-profile, hook him in big profile feuds, but don't overdo it with him to the point where it feels like, okay, pull it back on him. We don't need to see him win every single pay-per-view main event. Because I still stand by my word. We needed a break from McIntyre. And that break worked because now I want him back in the main event. Do the same thing with Cody. You can put him in the main event. He can win a championship, but pull it back a little. He can do mid-card stuff too, just like he was doing in AEW.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Cody, like I said, he's going to be the WWE champion within the year. I can just tell. Mainly, not just because it's Cody Rhodes and he freaking deserves every bit of that, but, I mean, just think about how big of a message that would send to the AEW mainstays, like an MJF, whose contract is coming up next year, like a Jade Cargill, like a Jungle Boy even. I don't think Jungle Boy's leaving even, but, like, that would send a huge message if they see one of their old EVPs holding the WWE championship, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and I don't want to get too, like, personal, but in WrestleMania weekend, you're going to agree with me. You get a certain high from it, and it takes a few days for that high to come down.
I'm jazzed.
I'm finally cooling down from my WrestleMania high.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to a lot of interviews after WrestleMania, and I did listen to Cody's interview with Inside the Ropes. And again, I don't want to get too into I don't want to get into too much of my personal life, but I listened to that interview, and it inspired me.
It did.
So Cody Rhodes and professional wrestling also, thank you. And I never thought I'd be saying that, but
thank you. Yeah.
Good luck, Cody Rhodes.
I also want to acknowledge real quick, this is where they brought out the Hall of Fame class. Steiner brothers went in, and Scott Steiner got a live mic for a few minutes. Vader went in.
You sure you guys want to do this?
Vader went in posthumously. Shad Gaspard was our Warrior Award recipient, which was awesome. Loved him
Shad
doing
is the Warrior. Fuck the Warrior. Shad's the new Warrior.
Rename that the Shad Gaspard Award, please.
Shad is the new Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hero.
He is. Yeah, the crowd was chanting Shad's a hero at the ceremony, and it was gut-wrenching. Queen Sharmell went in, but the speech that I needed to see was The Undertaker. Mark Calloway pulled back the curtain. He went a good 45 minutes to an hour in that Hall of Fame speech. And it was
I still need to listen to the speech.
He was giving a TED Talk, man. Like the way he was dropping jokes. He was roasting Kane. He was roasting Mayor Kane. Like, it was great.
The hands-free mic had me dead, pun intended. That shit had me dead. Like throughout the entire weekend, when they were showing that clips, I was like telling my friends, like, oh, my name's Mark Calloway, and you want to know how I know I'm the dead man on TV, but you know how I'm not actually looking dead? By taking my new Undertaker Dead Man supplements.
Oh my God.
Now let me tell you how these can change your life.
I'm not going to drive the TED Talk infomercial, like, look into the dirt like most people have been doing on Twitter. But I would like to acknowledge that the standing ovation he got at the beginning of his speech was so well-deserved, and I was tearing up. I couldn't help it. Undertaker is the greatest of all time. Nobody else can prove to me otherwise. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT to me. So
between Taker and Stone Cold Steve Austin and a couple other things on this WrestleMania, I think the best way to describe this WrestleMania was that moment in Ratatouille where he takes the bite of Ratatouille.
Yes.
And he immediately flashes back when he was a kid. That's what this WrestleMania felt like. And as I'm looking at my TV screen right now, Stone Cold Steve Austin is making his way to the ring, and it's all coming back.
He is. Before we get there, though,
unfortunately, we got to talk about one more match.
Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, SmackDown Women's Title. Do you want me to keep it brief? To get to Stone Cold?
No, because I
can.
I have some things I gotta say about this match.
Because Ronda apparently found out that her match was not going on last, and she was pissed. From what I heard.
She threatened to quit. She threatened to walk.
And lo and behold, she didn't even win the title. So, like,
I did not want to hit. Okay, I didn't hate it. I wanted to like this match.
I really did. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't as good as their match at Survivor Series 2018. Nowhere near that level.
I'm not going to sit here and defend Ronda Rousey, but I like her as a wrestler. In 2018, she showed us that she can be a good wrestler. But I don't know. Her return has not been hitting with me.
It's because she's a babyface. She's not a good babyface.
Okay, she was a good babyface in 2018. But then she really turned up the heat before she left.
Not anymore.
I have not watched a lot of WrestleMania builds. And surprisingly, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts where they were telling me the same thing. The build for this match has not been good.
No.
All of their promos on SmackDown have been terrible.
No way. It was very mediocre. The big highlight of the build was Charlotte Flair saying, "I am the opportunity," and Ronda Rousey in return putting the ankle lock into her arsenal. Not the angle slam, but the ankle lock. Marty Jannetty still can't. No. So I have to do that song.
I wanted to like this match. I really, really wanted to like this match because y'all, you know how much of a Charlotte Flair stan I am. Even though I don't. It's weird. She's my favorite women's wrestler, but every single time she wrestles, I want her to lose. It's very weird. Also, the crowd, this had to follow not only Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, but Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
This had to follow the big Cody return. So
It's like, yeah, Bianca Belair won the title. Yeah, Cody Rhodes is back. Oh, it's Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, two people we really don't like.
No. Keep these two as far away from each other as possible once Ronda wins this belt.
They were not clicking.
No.
Which was sad because I know they can.
They absolutely can. Go watch their match at Survivor Series a few years ago. It was so good.
I know Vince is going to disagree because, Ronda's a sell, brother. But if Rousey's going to have this rotten attitude, fucking drop her now. Well, it sounds like she's been difficult to work with since she came back.
Right. Well, the plan is apparently, like, if Ronda shapes up, I mean, the plan is for us to see Ronda and Becky at Mania 39 and main eventing one of the shows.
I mean, a lot can happen in a year, and I hope she fixes up the attitude. Hell, maybe she needs the Big Show treatment. Send her ass the NXT 2.0. That sounds like a real punishment right now.
You mean the large performance punishment? But of course, the large performance punishment.
Give her the dude love punishment. The tie-dye.
No.
NXT tie-dye. That's what I'm going to call from now on. Not NXT 2.0, NXT tie-dye.
NXT Dude Love.
Yeah.
Dude Love .0.
Don't disrespect Dude Love like that ever again.
Well, I mean, there was a cool spot in this match where Ronda Rousey became the first woman to escape the figure eight, which is, something that they put over huge on commentary. But then Ronda makes her comeback. She hits the Piper's Pit. She's a little too close to the ropes. Referee counts 3. Charlotte's foot is already in the ropes, and he's like, nope. Can't go through with it. Her foot was in the ropes. Ronda, being the MMA person she is, she's like, you can't take back your call, even if it's a mistake. If someone is knocked out and they could continue the fight, the ref can't go back on his call in the UFC world. So that part of it.
Yeah, but this is WWE, and this is a rare case of WWE actually making a little more sense. I mean, if the referee sees the foot on the rope and he accidentally counts 3, he has every right to call it off. This is not the first time we've seen something like this.
Absolutely.
I've seen people say this might... Okay, if Charles Robinson wants to pull at 1990, I think 6 or 7 it was, and turn heel, I mean, I'm all for it.
Well, I mean, he took a nice ref bump from Charlotte Flair when Ronda kicked her out of the figure eight. He took a spear from Charlotte, and he sold it and everything. It was awesome. Ronda goes for a pin. The referee is down, and, she had the match won twice. But then the referee starts coming to. Ronda picks him up, and then Charlotte hits a big boot and pins her. Charlotte retains.
Really?
Definitely a surprise.
Boot?
I know. To put away Ronda Rousey. To put away Ronda Rousey, mind you.
Money in the Bank or Backlash or Hell in a Cell or any of those other pay-per-views, fine. But at WrestleMania? This was the Royal Rumble winners match, by the way.
Yeah.
In case anybody forgot about that. I feel like everybody forgot that Rousey won the Royal Rumble. Even though it was only less than 3 months ago.
Yeah. God.
I can only give this match 2.5. I wanted to like this match.
I'm gonna go 2 3/4. I wanted to love it, and I know these two are better than this, but a little disappointing. But this next thing, this main event of this show, was not disappointing in the slightest. It was marketed as, this is you. Yeah. What do we have?
For the first time in WrestleMania history, WrestleMania is being main evented by a talk show segment.
No, it is not.
It's going to be, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Because it's happening right in front of my eyes right now.
Uh-huh.
The KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this was, for the longest time, billed as just a talk show segment. The minute they said it was going to main event night 1, no. You don't finish WrestleMania off with a talk show segment.
That would be like if you finished WrestleMania 21 with that weird Piper's Pit segment with Carlito. Remember that?
Yes, I do. And I was comparing that to this throughout this entire build. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by watching it right now, actually.
As it's happening in front of us.
A 2-parter. It was the talk show segment, which I think Kevin Owens carried beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've sat here on this channel and said we love Kevin Owens as a babyface, but I'm not going to deny his heel work either.
Kevin Owens is just great in general.
He is just great. He is a natural heat magnet. Better heat magnet than the forced heat we're getting with Logan Paul. He is just a natural heat magnet. He is just we were saying, okay, the other thing I want to point out, Kevin Owens is so fucking great. Throughout the entire weekend, he was fucking with everybody at Fan Access.
He was spray painting over Austin's billboard, Owens 316.
Vandalizing this great fucking spot where he found a cardboard cutout of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he said, hey, everybody, watch this. And he swings and he takes his fucking head clean off. Watched that clip so many times.
His T-shirt, of course, the tradition of the KO Mania T-shirt. It's a WrestleMania 6 spoof. He is on the poster, and he's taking up the Ultimate Warrior spot. Austin is taking up the Hogan spot, and it says Stunner versus Stunner. And I'm like, you're the man. You're the man.
Owens had to carry this whole feud by himself.
He did.
And there was rumors if this was actually going to be a match. And I knew the minute it turned into a talk show, like, no, this is going to turn into a match.
Oh, no. I knew the minute Kevin Owens walked out in his wrestling gear. And then I knew the minute Austin, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin's glass shatters and he gets a pop like nobody else can. It's untouchable still in 2022 how loud these crowds get for Stone Cold. He comes out, rides down on an ATV for a minute, and he is dressed in his, like, jean shorts, and he's got knee braces on, and he's got that Austin 316 shirt, and I'm like, this is going to be a fucking match, isn't it? We're not going to see 57-year-old Stone Cold wear the normal wrestling attire that he was, but he's coming out like a 2020
as we
Stone
predicted,
Cold ready to fight.
Yep, as we predicted, Owens challenges Austin to a no-holds-barred match. Right then and there, Austin is very passionate. He said, Dallas is where I had my first match, and if you want to see my last match here, and if you want to see me stomp a mud hole in this sack of shit. Give me a hell yeah. Of course, audience is hell yeah. And then Austin says, give me a god. And he censors himself. He stopped himself.
Give me a goddamn ref.
He wanted to say goddamn, but he stopped himself. It's so crazy how polite Stone Cold is.
2022. Give me a fucking ref, son. I know I
should have said that.
What? I got the stack of necks I call a dime, and I'm calling for a ref? What?
What? You think you're going to be Stone Cold tonight? What?
You think this is going to be a video game, son? No, this is going to be a dream match. Don't hit triangle on your controller. What?
Kurt Angle.
X?
Kurt Angle. You think you're going to come to me? What? And you think you're going to beat me with my WWF Championship? What?
Bradshaw,
with your stupid little singlet. What?
Bradshaw, you little sorry some bitch. Corey Graves, you stupid son of a bitch, son.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. What has this turned into? We're supposed to talk about Stone Cold's last match, but
so it is Stone Cold's last match, and this is not a scuffle. It's a fucking match.
Austin took bumps.
It was a match. It was an actual match. It was almost 14 minutes.
With a stack of necks, he took a bump on the concrete, son. Out on the floor with the fans.
I was worried. I'm like, how much of this are we going to actually get? Like, is Austin going to bump? And then he took a suplex on concrete.
Yeah.
At almost 60 years old. And I'm just like, well, this just turned for real.
Well, if Sting can do it, Austin for sure can. I mean, it might be a different situation, obviously. Sting's a little bit older than Stone Cold, if my memory serves me correct. But, I mean, I was scared for Austin's health. I mean, I knew he was dropped on his head in 1997, and he was never the same. But
they come back to ringside, and Austin flips Owens onto the announce table. That shit was
glorious.
Stiff. Fucking
absolutely
stiff.
Glorious.
This match was fucking stiff.
Kevin Owens must have been having the time of his life bumping for Stone Cold. He took a table spot. Kevin Owens tries to run away on Austin's ATV, and Austin sneaks up behind him, rolls him and Kevin Owens the ATV up the ramp, because I mean, ain't no way they're gonna take so much time for sure just to get up that ramp there.
They're fighting on the ramp. Owens takes another suplex on the stage. So he's
Austin,
bumping for Austin like crazy.
yeah, it was. You know what this was? This was like a 1999 Stone Cold style main event here. Like they were fighting
wasn't
all
it?
over the place. And I mean, there were some matches that weren't even billed as no holds barred, where Austin was like fighting all over the arena with The Rock and Undertaker and all these fucking guys. And I mean, they were fighting everywhere. It very much reminded me of the Mania 15 match for all intents and purposes. Just fighting up the ramp, fighting by the entranceway, fighting by the big Mania sign. So much fun. Such a big burst of nostalgia. And then you get back into the ring. Austin's been drinking on the job this whole time, might I add, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious that Austin was able to do that. But they get back in, and Kevin Owens hits a stunner. He hits a stunner on Austin, which is... I can't believe that's a sentence I'm saying right now. Kevin Owens hits Stone Cold with a stunner.
I thought that was going to be the finish right there. Because honestly, either of anything, I was not going to be mad with whoever won this match.
No, me neither.
And then, you know what? I'm going to let you talk about the finish because the minute I saw it, I thought of you. And we've been talking about this spot a lot in our retros.
Yes. Oh,
so
I was like, wait.
Take it away. How does this match finish?
So Kevin Owens hits a stunner, gets a near fall. He thinks better of it. He grabs a chair, goes to swing at Austin's head, ricochets off the top rope, and hits him in that beautiful Kurt Angle style that I loved from the Ruthless Aggression era. Tomas and I both love it. Oh, my God. Kevin Owens sold it masterfully right into a Stone Cold Stunner. 3 count. Austin wins. Austin wins. It was, yeah, where was JR to call this shit? So, that's what I'm wondering. I mean,
people were saying that was the only thing missing from this match. It was perfect, but we could have loved to have JR, but hey, I'll take it. This was very fun. I don't want to give it more than 3.25 because, I mean, it's Stone Cold. He's still showing age, obviously. He shouldn't even be doing this.
No.
But he wanted to have one last match on his terms. And I don't want to hear anyone say that Owens got buried here. He got to work with one of the greatest wrestlers of all time in the main event of WrestleMania. In my opinion, there were no losers in this match.
No, Kevin Owens is going to, his stock through the roof.
Skyrocketing.
Yeah, and he didn't even know that he was wrestling Austin when he re-signed with the company. So I don't really think the star rating matters that much just because this was just fun. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. I really dug this. What a great way to end night one.
Does not end there. Owens gets another stunner, and then this totally reminded me of WrestleMania 27. Byron Saxton comes in the ring. He wants to cheer Austin. You know what's happening. He gives him the beer. Saxton takes a stunner beautifully, I might add. And then Stone Cold's brother comes into the ring to celebrate with him. I thought he was going to stun his brother.
I wanted him to stun his brother so badly. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I thought his brother was doomed when he went into the ring. Don't trust Austin.
This whole match just made me smile.
Yeah. That's
wrestling fans, again, for one night, take the stick out of your ass. This was fun. I'm looking at it again right now, and it was fun. It was so fun that I went outside my backyard and I cracked 2 iced teas and I drank them Stone Cold Steve Austin style.
It's on Facebook.
It was
on
fun.
Facebook. Love that. Love that so much.
And Instagram,
Night 1, 9 out of 10 for me. Freaking dug the shit out of that show. But then you get night 2. I was kind of concerned. I was kind of concerned because all the video packages were cutting the New Day's match off of Saturday and onto Sunday, which is ironic considering what we're going to talk about. But WrestleMania opens with Triple H's music hitting, which was a very welcome surprise. Triple H announced officially his in-ring retirement on the Stephen A. Smith show on ESPN in a very candid interview about his condition. So happy to see that he's healthy. And, he's still, he's a fighter, so he wasn't going to go down easy for sure. But, Triple H is, he gets his proper retirement send-off. He doesn't take too much of the fans' time, but it's very symbolic. He brings out his boots, leaves them in the middle of the ring, and welcomes the fans of WrestleMania. And then we get the pyro. And he does have his 3 daughters at ringside for this moment, which is a really, really... it's a pleasant touch, and his oldest daughter looks exactly like Stephanie too.
I was gonna say we were talking like, holy shit, his oldest is almost 18. God, I feel old.
Oh God, yeah, it was.
I wonder if she wants to get in there and tangle it up with Charlotte Flair.
I mean, if she wants to be an executive, I don't know what the deal is, but
Hook better watch out. Triple H's daughter is coming for him.
yeah, it was great to see Hunter though, and he gets his full entrance in too one last time at WrestleMania, spits out the water and everything. Be honest, we all did the Triple H water spit at some point in our lives. So, night 2
Harder than it looks.
very much harder than it looks. Night 2 kicks off with RK Bro, Randy Orton and Riddle defending the Raw Tag Team titles against the Alpha Academy and their sheesh theme music and the Street Profits.
Sheesh.
Cheers, please. Why do I sound like Kermit the Frog when I imitate him? But
because Chad Gable is Kermit the Frog.
This, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But Randy Orton is having the best time of his career right now. He is having such a blast. I mean, when you think about what he was going through last year with the Fiend and how he was supposed to be this evil babyface, getting this big babyface reaction in front of fans, like. The Fiend's effect wore off on him. He's such an endearing babyface now. And I never thought I could say that about Randy.
I also want to say, I think we need to eat our words too. We all said in August that this was going to be Riddle versus Randy Orton. But RK Bro is so over. They have no reason to stop it now.
Don't break them up yet. I mean,
no.
I would break them up.
Fun.
I would break them up like,
early at SummerSlam. But even then, if they're still as over as they are and they're still selling merch,
why not?
There's no reason to break them up right now.
Why not? Keep it going. Yeah, absolutely. But this was a very, very fun, fast-paced opener for sure. I think this is certainly a better opener than Night 1's.
Street Profits finally get their first WrestleMania. About goddamn time. They have the first WrestleMania taken away by the pandemic.
Oh, I wanted them to
cut last year.
I wanted them to enter from the crowd. Which would have been so cool, but with all those solo cups around them, it would have looked like a big gigantic college party. So.
Alpha Academy, say what you want with the Raw booking. This is the most personality we've ever seen out of Chad Gable, and this is my favorite incarnation of him. And whatever gets him TV time, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun iteration of Otis as well. I didn't think I would like Otis as much as I did, but them in the Quiz Bowl. You remember the Quiz Bowl? Freaking love that segment.
Yeah.
I love when Chad Gable goes to pick like movies and TV, and then they're asking a question about Shakespeare. One of the answers is Hamlet. Otis looks at the screen and he's like, Ham. And then he still has that heavy machinery hint in there. And Chad's like, Otis,
he's still
quiet.
There's still a little bit of left in there. We can save him. We can still save Otis.
Yeah. Chad Gable's wrong, and then Riddle's like Hamlet, and he's right, and Otis is furious. I said that. I said Ham.
Otis knows his shit.
Yeah, but I mean,
this was a fun match.
It really was.
This is really fun.
It really was. Montez Ford does a big, gigantic plancha over the fucking ring post onto everybody, which looked very scary. Chad Gable's like, I can do you one better. Does an Asai moonsault off the second rope onto everybody. The crowd is chanting, this is awesome. You know what I'm going to say my nitpick is, though, right? You know my problem with this match.
Why are they tagging in and out?
Why the fuck are these idiots standing on the apron obeying the rules if it's no disqualification? Like, that has never made any sense to me.
Well, apparently WWE caught on to that because the very next night they had a tornado tag match between the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy.
Yeah, but that was just 2-on-2. Like, you could, like, have the rules, like, enforce no problem. But, like, you could throw ladders in there. You could do so much with a tornado tag match. So
I thought this was fine enough, though. The biggest spot of the match is that Riddle hits an RK Bro off the top rope.
Onto Ford, I believe. Onto Ford as he was going for a frog splash on Orton. Gable goes with what Brian Zayn calls a flying nothing, and Orton gets the RKO out of nowhere. Pins Gable. RK Bro retain. Was there any doubt? They just won the titles about a month ago. I can't go more than 3 3/4 just because of the discombobulated rules at the beginning, but I really dug this.
I'm going to give it 3.5. It was fun. It was a fun opener. It was a good way to wake the crowd up. You know, hey, I know this is night 2. This is match technically match number 10, or not like match number 8 or 9 for WrestleMania, and you got a lot more to go. I'm looking forward to this 2 nights of madness that we're going to go through next year.
I can't freaking wait. Again, anybody going down to LA, let us know down in the comment section below. We would love to meet you in person. I
thought for a second we were going to get a Street Profits heel turn because they were getting ready to cheers with RK Bro. But then Chad comes and saves the day, and he fucking slaps that shit out of Orton's head.
Well, no, what had happened?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Out of Stevenson's head, because they invited Stevenson into the ring.
Yeah, they brought Gable Steveson, who was at ringside. They brought him into the ring for a toast, and Chad Gable knocks the cup out of Gable's hands, which is
you know why I'm going to be saying Chad and Stevenson. That is, you're really going to have 2 people on the show named Gable.
Yeah, and once they inevitably wrestle each other, if I'm in the crowd for that, you better believe I'm going to try and start a "This is Gable" chant. You better believe that.
Let's go Gable.
Let's go Gable.
Gable will win.
Yeah, Gable will win. So Gable hits Gable with a belly-to-belly suplex, and it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Gable still got a.
I think Chad was a really good person to sell for Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
Considering he's such a pro, and he's also an Olympic, Greco-Roman wrestler.
Both are Olympians. Exactly.
I think Chad is going to be a good first opponent for Stevenson.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to take care of him. He's going to make him look good in there.
I would agree, my friend. But, yeah, good thing the crowd was woken up before this next match, huh?
Next up, in a match that was made on Monday, it's Lashley, the person going into WrestleMania last year as the WWE champion, going against the man who made his debut at last year's WrestleMania, Omos. I'm going to say this right now. I did not hate this match.
What a shitty match this was, huh?
This was not shit.
Considering
what they were given, and the match only went 6.5 minutes, I thought this was harmless. I don't want to say it was fun. It was harmless.
It was,
Lashley did everything in his power to make Omos look as good as possible. And I know what you're going to say. No, this was not Kane and Khali from Mania 23.
It totally was. Except it had the right winner.
That match sucked. This one was at least Omos held his own as best as he could.
This was admittedly, Omos is more mobile than the Great Khali, but he is still very green. And I feel like he was exposed a little bit here. Even after learning a lot from AJ.
If you accept Omos for what he is, I know we're never going to get like a 5-star match out of this guy. But at least he's not a bumbling, mumbling buffoon like the Great Khali.
Yeah.
We've seen videos of this guy rapping. We've seen this guy be funny.
We have.
You said it last year. Omos has swagger. And if they utilize him right, and considering what they did the next night on Raw, I don't think Omos is dead in the water.
Yeah.
This match was harmless at best.
Not yet. It pains me to see this guy on WrestleMania after Braun Strowman was fired, and I think Braun Strowman is 1,000,000 times better than Omos right now. So,
oh yeah,
I don't know what it is about
Omos is not perfect by any of the stretch. I'm just saying this could have been worse, and I think Lashley did his darndest to make Omos look good.
Yeah,
and like you said, the right person won. Lashley hit an awkward as fuck spear from the back, and then he hit another spear. And Lashley, rightfully so, is the first person to pin Omos.
Pins him clean in the middle of the ring, which I was like, so much for that undefeated streak, huh?
Also, I liked Lashley's entrance. I thought that was badass.
Oh, yeah. No, he's standing on a pedestal like he's a freaking,
He did the Super Showdown entrance, and I was like, fuck yes.
Super Showdown entrance. Oh, man.
Before his match with Braun Strowman.
1 star.
I'll give it 2.
Ooh.
I'll give it 2.
Wow. Okay. Hot take. I can't. If I'm being nice, star and a half. I can't go higher than that though. Personally, I think.
Like I said,
I think Omos still has a lot to learn. I mean, he still has a chance. He's not dead in the water, but like, I don't know. This I think exposed him a little much. So
I'm gonna say it like this: Styles gave him the knowledge that he needs. I think Lashley can give him the physical advice that he needs.
Right.
Like how to be a good big man. we all saw it. Lashley took a while to become a good wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Lashley is freaking
So
awesome. He's awesome.
I didn't love this match, but I'm going to defend it. And
Yeah.
at least Lashley got on the card.
That's fair. That's fair. At least Lashley got on the card and he got a win. But I got a question for you. You ate your words earlier on. Are you ready for me to eat mine?
It's okay because I'm going to be eating them right with you.
Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. Anything goes. It's well documented. A lot of people have been viewing my Q&A videos, and I've had a lot to say about Jackass. I'm not a fan of Jackass. I don't think it's funny at all. I think these guys are just going for cheap laughs here and there. But son of a bitch, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn had a really fun match here. This felt right out of like 1999 Hardcore Championship era here. Like they were it's so fun.
My buddy had to put me in my place. Not put me in my place, but he taught me a thing because we were talking about this match. And he said, Johnny Knoxville has done so many things to himself, like stunt-wise. Knowing that, he's going to go in here and he's going to fucking bump for Zayn. And he's not going to be afraid to take any offense.
Well, not only him,
or dish out any offense.
Not only him, but this is a match that promised us the whole entire cast of Jackass, minus Steve-O, who I think is on tour at this time.
The match starts.
Sami Zayn was kicking the shit out of them.
Sami Zayn fucking just wrecks Knoxville with the haluva kick.
Oh
right
my
off the bat.
God, it was right in the fucking mouth, and I'm like, good Lord, this match is going to be freaking painful.
So what happens first in this fucking...
What happens first? I mean, I can tell you that all the Jackass dudes are at ringside. Sami Zayn is shoving one of them. And then Knoxville pulls out a freaking fire extinguisher, sprays Zayn in the face with it, and I'm like, oh, it's on now. We're going to have a hardcore style match here. They start off small, which equals a trash can lids, which Johnny Knoxville turned into a symbol, which is like, you know those like little wind up monkey toys from like Toy Story 3 that was really demented. Johnny Knoxville did one of those movements, and I was like,
this felt like an episode of Celebrity Deathmatch, minus the blood and gore.
It was a cartoon. That's all this was.
So Sami Zayn taps into his inner Kenny Omega, and he pulls out a table with mousetraps on it.
A bunch of mousetraps. And I remember being at your house.
What does our buddy Chris Flash always say?
If you introduce the weapons, you're the one that's fucking taking it. So I vividly remember, being at Brittany's house for that viewing party, and all of us just being so freaking scarred by the mousetraps, and I immediately had deja vu.
Same.
But this
here comes my favorite spot of the match.
Oh God!
So Zayn goes under the ring, and something bites him. It's fucking Wee Man.
Yeah.
And Wee Man comes out of the ring, and he starts fucking throwing ham bones at Zayn. Closed fist. He's not letting up. He's trying to punch Zayn in the face. God. He's punching him in the gut. And Zayn is trying to fight off this little fucking demon from hell off of him. And that is my favorite spot of this entire weekend. Wee Man fucking throwing haymakers like he's Floyd Mayweather in there, and he is connecting all of these shots.
Well, and he body slammed Sami Zayn too.
Fucking hilarious.
Body slammed Sami Zayn. Hulk slamming Andre.
I'm gonna tell my kids that was Hulk Hogan body slamming.
Yeah, the opening WrestleMania montages should no longer have Hogan slamming Andre, but they should have Wee Man slamming Sami Zayn instead. Oh, yeah, it was so great. And then Sami Zayn gives Wee Man the harshest receipt, I think, in wrestling history. After the scoop slam and all those like little ham hocks hitting him in the gut, Zayn hits him with a haluva kick, and he damn near breaks his nose. I was very, very scared for this guy's life. You know, like he was going to bleed out.
Fucking props to Wee Man.
What a champ, man.
And then here come the toys. There's a nut-kicking machine. You heard me right. It's a boot, like weird swinging pendulum thing. You flip the switch, and it's a boot, and it kicks you in the nuts.
It's a military boot, which is even more painful because a lot of those are steel-toed. A lot of those are
Zayn,
steel-toed,
okay.
to my knowledge.
So Knoxville pulls out a taser. You heard me right, a taser. And Zayn, understandably so, starts running. He runs around the ring, and here comes the obligatory giant hand to the face. Mark Henry's son finally made his WrestleMania debut.
Oh, Mark Henry's son turned heel. No, you're forgetting the part where Sami goes up to the top rope and the pyro goes up his ass. You missed
Knoxville
that part.
has again, it's like a cartoon. Knoxville has this little remote that he keeps using in the match.
Oh my
And he
god.
presses it. And the pyro scares Zayn off. And then fuck Skylar King. He goes, LOL Finn Balor.
Oh. Oh, at least Sami Zayn was on the WrestleMania card, huh? But
Oh my god.
yeah, and then Sami tries to go up to the top rope again, and he has to kick the ring post to make sure the pyro doesn't go off again.
He's checking the ring to make sure it's not rigged. I'm
know
in
what it was?
stitches at this point.
You remember when you remember the end of Home Alone when Harry goes up to the doorknob and he burns his hand because there's that little branding iron on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole moment where Harry goes up to the doorknob again and he's tapping on it, oh yeah, this is normal room temperature. That was what Zayn did, kicking the ring post there, and he's like, okay, it's cool to
It
go
was
up
in tears this entire match.
top. It was hilarious. It was absolutely, they over delivered. Sami
my
goes through the
God.
table of mousetraps, and that's where you have the giant fucking mousetrap, which malfunctioned.
You heard us right.
Which malfunctioned. The trap thing was made out of PVC pipe, and Sami has to act like he can't get out. Johnny Knoxville rolls him up in the mousetrap, and Knoxville wins. I mean, if you're gonna complain about this, I could just sit here and complain about Orange Cassidy for an hour.
Exactly. You know what? If you're gonna sit here and complain about this, you're no fun.
Yeah.
You're no fun.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I don't want to go to Disneyland with you. I don't want to go to a party with you. I don't want to do anything with you. You're not fun if you didn't enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat my words. Yeah, as someone who's not a fan of Jackass, I freaking loved this match.
I'm sticking to my guns. This is my favorite match of the whole night.
Oh no.
3.5 stars.
Yeah, this
3.5 stars on the fun factor.
Again, this is not going to be a pure wrestling match here, but it's like the Austin Owens match in a way. The star rating really doesn't matter.
I'm not going to give it a star rating, actually. This gets 3.5 smiles. I just had so much fun with this.
I just
3.5 smiley emojis.
Yes, yeah. How about how about 3.5 of those emojis where you're crying with laughter? No, fuck it. 4 of those.
3.5 Steve-Os.
4 crying
3.5 wee mans.
3.5
wee mans.
No, 3.5 party boys, and Michael Cole did make a naked Midian reference, which
we forgot to bring up Party Boy because Chris Pontius comes in the ring and he starts doing his thing. I'm like, don't fucking do it. And he takes off his thing and he starts violating Sami Zayn.
He does. and Sami was so appalled by this that a man who was wearing not a whole lot was getting all up in his space as if he wasn't already a professional wrestler. That was the funniest thing about it, was Sami's reaction. So, okay, let's cool down for a minute.
Here comes a match that I didn't care about this match at all.
No.
But this match is going to get effort for the goddamn entrance attire alone. It's Naomi and Sasha Banks who come out in a convertible.
They come out to a rave party first. Naomi's entrance looks like a whole ass rave.
Versus Carmella and Queen Zelina. Cool entrance attire. They get a thumbs up. Versus Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Holy shit. I was feeling some things during that entrance. And Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
Me too. I loved Rhea Ripley's Robert Pattinson cosplay, which Corey Graves idiotically called Donnie Darko. And I'm like, there's a big fucking difference between Batman and Donnie Darko, buddy. Big difference.
And Liv Morgan, I'm just gonna say, was straight up BDSM. She was a Catwoman. Yep.
Catwoman.
It was excellent. I loved it. It made me feel things.
Liv Morgan is everybody's favorite high school crush.
Mm-hmm. And
anyway,
Rhea Ripley is the thick, mommy dumb goth GF that everybody dreams of.
Yeah, too bad Rhea's gonna turn heel on Liv soon. I was enjoying that partnership, so spoiler alert.
this was a fun, like, cool down match after all the shenanigans we just got.
Yeah,
Because I had no issue with this match. This was fun.
2.5. I mean, this is 4 random ass teams that were all thrown together at the last minute. That includes the champions, who are at some odds because Carmella and Corey Graves are getting married in a few days. You know, good for them. I
gotta get the titles off of them. From one random team to the other. But you know what? If you were gonna pick a winner other than Morgan and Ripley, I'm glad they went with Banks and Naomi because Banks really isn't doing anything right now. Her and Naomi do have history. And if you're not going to put the main women's titles on these girls, why not? Put the tag team titles on them. Let them jump between shows and just work a bunch of matches.
This is also Sasha's. This is also Sasha's first win at a WrestleMania, by the way.
Yep.
So, yeah,
this is how the women's tag works. Random team, work them until they get stale a couple months later. On to the next random tag team.
Because Vince does not give a damn about these women's tag belts. But
nope.
2.5, I mean, you know, it was there. I mean, the ladies worked hard. I'm glad they got a moment.
It was not as good as the one where the Iconics won the titles, but this was fun. This was a good way to get
not even close.
Women onto the show.
Yeah, but
this was a better way to get all the women on the show that wasn't a battle royal.
Yeah, than the rather than the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal for anybody who remembers. So,
yikes.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So, my friends, this is the match I was looking forward to the most out of everything this whole weekend.
It's the longest match of the night at 24 minutes.
The longest match of the whole weekend for sure. Edge versus AJ Styles, 2 generational talents going head to head. AJ Styles comes out first, has his normal entrance, and for some reason he was already bleeding by his temple because apparently he hit the entrance like a klutz. He was pissed.
Ouch.
He was pissed. Yeah, but
I'd be pissed too.
Yeah. So then you get Edge's entrance. I'm about to eat my words again. Tomas and I were talking about this for a while. I was very salty when they took Metalingus away from Edge, but I mean, Edge knew that that's an iconic theme song, so you had to put something else that was badass in its place for this new Ministry of Darkness style character. He comes out.
Well, let me ask you something, man.
Go ahead.
You think you know him? You never did.
I never did, apparently. Yeah, he comes out with a giant, like, leather throne, and there's a Brood homage in there as the throne is lifted up, and then the fire is just going off as the by the way, the song is it's The Other Side by Alter Bridge, same band as Metalingus, which is awesome. I love me some Alter Bridge.
This gimmick change for Edge was a risk, but I'm loving it.
Huge risk.
Fucking loving
risk. And
because here's the thing, Edge is 27-time world champion. He's a Hall of Famer. He's done it all. He chose to come back and revive his career, and he didn't have to do a single thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's like putting a brand new, fresh coat of paint on an already spectacular card. Oh. And that's what this gimmick is for Edge. I love it.
Like, literally, from the looks of it, he's building his own Ministry of Darkness, because it felt like summer of 1999 style Undertaker aura there. The purple lighting, there you go. And the theme music.
This match.
I've had the theme song stuck in my head, by the way, all week long. Ever since Edge came out to it the first time, I was like, but then I saw him come out to it at Mania, and I'm like, okay, this is a bop of a theme song. But the match itself.
This match was pretty methodical, but I liked it.
Tremendous wrestling match for sure. These two, they were promising us a dream match, and they delivered that. And in terms of in-ring quality, I have no complaints here. AJ Styles was hitting springboard 450s. He did hit the Styles Clash on Edge, which I was very concerned about because of Edge's history of neck problems. And you want to talk about a stack of necks for a dime. Edge is Edge's neck is like a stack of toothpicks at this point with you got to be very careful with him. So, in any case, it's a miracle that he's even wrestling 2 years after his big return. But, God, I mean, he took the Styles Clash and it was seamless and nice near falls throughout this. Edge hit the execution for sure. I don't think I feel like he locked in the Educator at some point, but I might just
He did.
He did. I know he locked in the STF, which was a nice homage to his greatest rival, John Cena, at least in my opinion. He was like, he's even said he's like the Piper to Cena's Hogan. So it's great. Ed is a great villain, you know, and seeing him with that presence and that poise, his promo style. Like, I stand on a mountain of omnipotence over all of you, like, little heathens down there, you people.
It was excellent.
Yeah, it's great presentation. Great presentation. My only nitpick, though...
he revived his career when it didn't need to be revived.
He really did. I couldn't agree with you more. Tremendous wrestling match, but I do have a problem. I do have a problem with the finish. Do you want to talk about the finish real quick?
Sure. AJ Styles is setting up for the phenomenal forearm.
He sure
is. And then because he has the attention span of a garden mouse, he looks to the side and he sees Damian Priest, who is just standing there, staring at Styles. Styles goes back to the match. He misses the he takes a spear in midair, which was pretty fucking awesome.
It was a dope spot.
Edge wins. Okay.
He does.
Let me say this now. I understand that Edge is building a faction. I'm all for that faction. I can't wait to see what he brings from that faction. Did we really need, I don't want to say overbooked, but the finish for this match, did you really need that?
You know what this was? So, first of all, I think AJ Styles should have won this match clean as a whistle. I don't care that this was a new character change for Edge and like, oh yeah, no, he should win to keep his new character looking strong. It's Edge. It's Edge, okay?
Edge can get the win back. Literally, it's the next pay-per-view.
AJ Styles has not won a pay-per-view match since Money in the Bank. Think about that for a minute. Wins and losses should matter here. AJ Styles needed this victory here at WrestleMania. He needed to be put over here. And I don't know. I mean, I get where they're going with Damian Priest here, and I think having him as Edge's heavy in this faction, which if rumors are to be believed, are going to have a couple more really fascinating names thrown into the mix, and I'm really excited to see them pop up. But I feel like they got to the Damian Priest part of the story too early. I think that's a thing that you save for the Raw after Mania, if anything. AJ Styles could be out there cutting a promo, and then Edge will be like, you think you're done with me, buddy? You never would.
You know, here's the thing. My issue isn't even really with Edge winning. It was just, it didn't need that. You want to start the faction again.
Oh.
Edge and Priest cut a promo on Raw. They could have just saved it for that. If this match was too important and too big to have sort of an interference finish.
They kind of were telling that part of the story too early. I think they kind of jumped the gun a little.
I love this match. And when this match happened, if you would have asked me to rate this match on Sunday when it happened, I would admit I would have given it 3 3/4. But after watching it again and after thinking about it again, it gets 4 1/4 because the match was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to let that ruin it. If that wasn't there, it would get 4.5 right up there with Rhodes Rollins and the Rollins style.
Yeah.
But it gets that little nick for the finish.
I'm right there. 4 1/4 stars as well.
Yeah.
Edge took a superplex on the apron as well, which scared me half to death because, like I said, Edge's neck is like it's a stack of it's not a whole lot. It's like a stack of dust bunnies now. But he takes that superplex and he gets right back up and finishes the match, and it's great. Damian Priest notwithstanding, 4 1/4. Really dug this. I think it really lived up to the hype. I personally, and this is coming from someone that loves Edge, would have loved to have seen AJ win this one. And if this does, I don't think this is the end of the feud, by the way. And if it does lead to AJ winning at the end, perhaps maybe even in Hell in a Cell, because imagine Edge and AJ in the cell. Like if they amp up the rivalry to that point.
I want to see Edge and Styles in a cell at SummerSlam, not at Hell in a Cell, because I don't think you shouldn't be.
The summer
we're gonna make this. Exactly. It's like feuds should end when they're organically ready to end, not just because you conveniently have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell in June.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna have like a match at AJ Styles is gonna wrestle Damian Priest or hell, just
go wrestle Priest.
Tommaso Ciampa, maybe. If rumors are to be
at WrestleMania
believed,
Backlash, yeah.
yeah. AJ Styles and Tommaso Ciampa is a great match for WrestleMania Backlash, if you ask me. But
And then Edge and the New Brood, until they get a name, I'm gonna call them New Brood. They're probably gonna fuck Styles out of the ladder match in July. I'm
gonna name him the Ministry of Omnipotence, or the Move for short.
But here's the thing. This feud obviously needs to stretch a while. And after WrestleMania Backlash is Hell in a Cell. I don't know. You don't end this in June. That's way too soon to end this.
No.
This has to end at SummerSlam.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell, my friend. But
okay, I'm already pissed off. Let me stay pissed off even more. The next match was a match actually a lot of people were anticipating. It's Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day. If you guys didn't see it, Big E broke his fucking neck, and I'm very depressed because of that. Big E is not here. We all wish him the best. Kingston and Woods came out dressed as Big E to support their boy. And what does WWE do? In less than 2 minutes, they fucking squash the New Day like they're bugs.
Yeah, and Ridge Holland basically worked this whole match. Sheamus was on the apron there. Pete Dunne was running interference on the outside, trying to get involved and be the frisky little bruiserweight that he is, wearing suspenders and a newsboy hat for some reason.
Okay, I don't like the gimmick, but I like how frisky he is. I love that he's jumping on people and just punching the shit out of them every second that he gets.
Well, because Pete Dunne is great. Everybody seems to forget that Pete Dunne was a long-reigning WWE United Kingdom champion for fucking ever.
But my thing is that he is great, but Vince McMahon really put a little hat and little suspenders on him and said, "Oh, look how cute he looks." Vince McMahon actually did that.
Sickening. Absolutely sickening.
This whole thing was a dumpster fire. It gets a dud rating because I'm just so pissed off that they did this to the New Day.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, with the time they had, they were trying to get so much in there, but I can't give it
and it came out sloppy.
Yeah, well, maybe because Ridge Holland is also somewhat green in the ring, but, I mean, again, Ridge Holland certainly has potential to improve, especially working under someone like Sheamus, but imagine if this was like Sheamus and Pete Dunne in there instead. Like, I know
imagine if it was all three of them versus the New Day.
Yeah.
Holland had to go and break Big E's neck.
Hey, it was an accident. It was okay.
It was. I know.
I'm not holding anything against Ridge Holland being the guy who gave Big E the belly to belly. So Ridge Holland, God, I feel it's gonna haunt him the rest of his career. I think similar to D'Lo Brown being haunted after the big 1999 incident. But
I was actually a little sickened on how many times WWE shows the clip at Mania of Big E's neck being broken.
Yeah. Big E did make light of the situation by saying, if you're going to break your neck anywhere, break it in Birmingham, Alabama, because the WWE doctors are over there. Like,
right fucking there.
Such a class act. You want to talk about class acts? Cody Rhodes and Big E. Love those guys. Yeah. Okay, so.
All right, and now this is the moment of WrestleMania where my energy's starting to sink. I'm like,
here we go.
Oh, how much? Okay,
I'm gonna rant about this for a while. I know we're
fucking done.
I know we're really deep into this podcast, guys. I hope you're still with us here. Pat McAfee going one-on-one with Austin Theory. Vince McMahon makes his entrance first. There are some idiots in the front row who are bowing to him, even though he's made some stupid-ass decisions within the last 3 years. They still bow to this fucking man.
And it's like, I get what you mean there, because it's like you're really going to bitch about him online, but you see him in person, you treat him like he's the Messiah.
Hypocrites.
That's the issue, guys.
They're fickle.
That's the issue.
Absolutely fickle. So Vince comes out and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to a future WWE Universal Champion, Austin Theory." And I'm like, that's your Drew McIntyre moment right there. And it just felt
I was going to say, remember the last time Mr. McMahon had a chosen one? It took him 10 fucking years to finally get there.
Yep. Same thing. Yeah, Austin Theory is not going to be WWE champion until WrestleMania 56, gang. Just prep for that. So Austin Theory gets in there. Pat McAfee has the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders like escorting him down to the ring, and they do get Seven Nation Army to play not play him down to the ring, but they got the music, and the crowd was singing along to the theme music. They were so behind Pat McAfee. And one thing I did notice, like looking back on it, Michael Cole was out of this world commentating this match, mainly because
that's his homie.
Vince was not in his ear either. So
nope.
Michael Cole was watching this like a fan. And Pat McAfee's become like
Pat's his homie.
Best friend.
Pat McAfee saved Michael Cole's career.
He did. Say what you want about Pat McAfee, but he's a solid color commentator. Solid wrestler
I love Pat
as well.
McAfee as a commentator. I'm going to let you take this match because I'm going to preserve all my thoughts for the end.
Say what you want.
For the end of the first half of this match.
I'll tell you what.
The second half, that's a whole other story.
I'll tell you what. I'll just be brief about this so we can get right to it. Pat McAfee looked great in this match. Austin Theory was a really good opponent for him. I don't want to say this match was nearly on the level of his match with Adam Cole at TakeOver 30, but
no.
Think about this. For a guy who has only had 2 matches, for him to look this good against Austin Theory, who is a well-established up-and-coming superstar here, probably even the next Randy Orton, a lot of people are saying. There are a lot of Randy Orton comparisons in there. I mean, this was really good, gang. This was really good. The crowd was really into everything Pat McAfee was doing. Pat McAfee pins Austin Theory with an inside cradle. And Michael Cole just about prolapses at ringside. And for some reason, Vince McMahon is kind of pissed. He's kind of pissed that his boy didn't win. But he's
okay.
He's
I'm going to stop you there because I'm going to give like my whole overview of how I felt about this match. Before I say that, I like Pat.
Yeah.
I think he's a fantastic commentator. Those 2 matches that he had, very impressive. I like Theory. WWE is actually pushing Theory correctly on the main roster. It's very rare when they do that.
Mm-hmm.
The match was fine. I'm happy McAfee is as over as he is. But this whole match did nothing for me.
And I'm going
to tell you why
I see that.
It did nothing for me. We talked earlier that guys like Finn Balor, Ricochet were both champions.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like the Viking Raiders, guys like Mustafa Ali. And you know what? I'm going to throw all the release guys in there. Fiend, Keith Lee,
Braun Strowman,
Kyle O'Reilly, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed. Just a few names that are out there.
Jonah.
So you mean to tell me that if you want to be the semi-main event of WrestleMania, all you got to do is be a good commentator and wrestle one good match?
Yeah.
And that earned McAfee, and this is nothing against him. I'm going to say this again. I liked him. That earned McAfee a one-way ticket into the semi-main event of WrestleMania in a feud that had almost no heat, all because Vince said, hey, buddy, you want to wrestle at WrestleMania?
Yeah. Yeah. I get where you're coming from now.
This is no
totally
ill feelings towards Pat. No ill feelings towards him. Yeah. I'm glad he's as over as he is, but this whole match, it didn't do anything for me.
It kind of rubs you the wrong way if you think about it more and more.
It does rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Rating-wise, I don't know because I really didn't care about this match. I'll give it 2.5.
I'm going 3 just because this crowd was into it. Pat McAfee was hitting a bunch of really impressive maneuvers, doing backflips and landing on his feet when Austin Theory was knocking him off the top rope. It was great. Really, really solid wrestling from those two. But then
I swear we went into. I was hysterical at this point. We were on to our 8 of WrestleMania in the span of 2 nights. And so much stuff has happened. And then, I see you're really upset, so I'm going to take this. So then,
yeah, go ahead and take it.
It's over. And Vince, he starts to take off his coat. And he says, no. Haha, I gotcha. And then he takes it off. And he's dressed to wrestle. And he gets his old wrinkly ass up there. And Theory attacks Pat. And then for some reason, there's a referee in there. And he rings the bell. For no reason whatsoever, Vince McMahon is wrestling McAfee.
This was rumored. This was rumored. I didn't want it to happen. Vince
looks like if he steps on the curb wrong, his ankle would shatter into a million places.
I
was yelling in my living room that Vince is going to die tonight.
I'm surprised he didn't tear both of his quads wrestling Pat McAfee at this point. I'm surprised he didn't tear one quad when he hit him with the punt and he pins Pat McAfee.
Hold on. Before we get to that point, though, Vince is tapping Pat with his foot.
And Pat has a sell for him.
The weakest clotheslines in the world.
It's
and
the worst clotheslines.
Sell it.
Sorry, the worst clotheslines I've ever fucking seen in my life. And Michael Cole is putting this guy over like, oh, Vince is looking buff. No. Vince looks like if Kermit the Frog went to go to the tanning booth while also injecting himself with steroids, but yet the steroids don't work. And then he ends up looking like a gigantic bag of chocolate pudding instead. He looked terrible.
Yeah, it was so surreal. And then I'm gonna steal a quote from Good Mike Work. And then Vince has a football for some reason.
He
takes the football, and I was like in tears saying, if Vince goes for this kick, he's gonna tear his quad.
And sure enough, he must have torn his quad somewhere in there, but
he kicked the ball into Pat's face.
Pins Pat McAfee in the center of the ring, and this 76-year-old geriatric sociopath has no business being in the ring right now. Absolutely no business. And you have no business making a guy who is over as Pat McAfee out to be a gigantic geek. Selling for you. Minus 5 stars. No, minus
5 stars.
No, minus infinite stars. Okay?
Wow.
Minus infinite. Fucking hated this. One of the worst WrestleMania matches I've ever seen.
It's not over because Vince and his demented old ass.
He almost said dementia. That was messed up.
No, I meant demented.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you.
Reacts too soon because Theory's music goes off and Vince goes, and I'm like, well, somebody's going to come out. Either that or Vince got scared. And then Stone Cold's music hits. And Stone Cold comes back.
Yeah. He's dressed in his gear.
I'm like delusional at this point. If I was this delusional watching it, do you imagine how delusional I'm going to be actually being there next year?
Delirious. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, right
and
before.
Then Stone Cold hits a stunner on Theory, and Theory sells it amazingly.
Oh, it was so awesome. So Austin hits the stunner, and Theory bounces up into the air, and he's like running in place as he's falling, and it's so great. And then, for old time's sake, Vince is like, "Hey, let's have a beer, pal." And then we all know where this is going. They share the beer. Vince is the only one oblivious to this. It's brilliant dramatic irony.
Even though it's happened to him 25 times in his life.
It's great dramatic irony here. So all Vince has to do is stand there and bend over and take the stunner. Like, no. Austin is in knee braces, 57 years old, jacked up knees, and he is sprinting to go and get Vince for the stunner. He kicks him. Vince is backpedaling towards the rope. And once he finally gets him, he sits down and takes the stunner. Like, they're letting stunner together.
Vince, for over 20 years, has been told he has the worst sold stunner of all time. When Austin first hit him with the stunner in 98?
Yeah,
we are in
2022, I believe.
And Vince broke his own record.
This is fucking awful.
If you want to feel good about yourself, though, go watch Mick Foley's reaction to it.
Yeah.
Because Foley laughed so hard that he can't breathe.
Yeah, he was.
And his son recorded the entire thing. It was great.
Poor Mixer was in tears watching this thing. And I mean, yeah, the Pat McAfee Austin Theory stuff. Oh, we didn't even mention Stone Cold also stunned McAfee as they were sharing a beer.
Did.
And McAfee sold that stunner so well, and like the camera cuts to him again. He's laying outside the ring, guzzling beer. He's down. It's so funny. It's so funny. Makes you forget
I'm so glad this is over.
Yeah, makes
I'm
you
so
forget
glad that whole ordeal is over.
Makes you forget that Vince was putting himself over at WrestleMania. What a fucking
And
sociopath,
then,
man. Okay.
Here we go. It's the greatest, the biggest WrestleMania event of all time. And it's the biggest because we've obviously never seen it before. Never.
Yeah. Brock
didn't see it
Lesnar
in San
versus
Jose.
Roman Reigns. Everybody close your eyes for a minute and just imagine a Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match, and that's exactly what you get. This match was exactly what I expected.
Before we
going
get to
into
that,
it.
we got to mention both titles are on the line.
Yeah.
Not that
They
that
are.
matters because they're probably going to separate the titles probably as soon as Friday.
Yeah. And fun factoid for you, for the viewers, if you go on WWE.com, at least last time I checked, Roman Reigns is listed as Universal Champion. Next to him is another picture of Roman Reigns, WWE Champion. So there's still 2 titles. There are still 2 titles out there, my friend.
They will break up these titles. They're going to find a way to break up the titles.
So championship unification was bullshit.
So like Zack said, picture a Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match in your head. And that's exactly what this was. I wanted to sit back and just see what happened.
Yeah.
And not only was I disappointed, I was proven right. I was hoping they would prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And just do something different.
Let's give them some credit, though, real quick. First of all, it looks like Brock Lesnar is having the most fun he's ever had throughout his whole career. With this cowboy shtick that he has and like having his voice crack, cutting his own promos. He imitated Paul Heyman during the ring introductions for this match. And Paul was so, for lack of a better term, appalled that his friend was standing there imitating him like that.
This was the only instance of the entire weekend where the build was better than the match itself.
Oh, the build was great. The build, I mean, give them credit, like, given the circumstances, and championship title for title was apparently Brock's idea at some point. And for what they had, these two were doing a hell of a job building this thing up to be a big match. Now, biggest
But
WrestleMania.
also think we could have gotten Reigns versus McIntyre and Lashley versus Lesnar for the respective titles. No, we got this instead.
Yeah, and then you have to market it as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Okay, so Hogan and Andre have something to say about that. Hogan versus Warrior.
Rock and Austin. Rock and Austin has something to say about that.
Rock and Austin. Rock and Hogan. Hell, Michaels and Jericho. Hogan and Vince.
Mm-hmm.
I know I just buried.
Taker and Michaels would love to have a word with you too.
Yeah. Taker and Triple H would love to have a word with you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Rock versus Cena. Rock versus Cena too. Brock versus Taker.
Roman Reigns from 2015 and Brock Lesnar from 2015 would like to have a word with you too.
And we're a little bit biased because we were in the building for that. But you get the point, though. This is like the 10 millionth time Brock and Roman have had a main event together at one of these shows. Biggest WrestleMania match ever. You cannot. We've done 70 of these pods now, Tomas. Can you believe that? 70. And this is a complaint that is hearkening back to day one when we talked about Backlash 2020. The main event of that show, if you remember, Edge versus Randy Orton, the greatest wrestling match ever. I said it before and I'll say it again. You cannot market a wrestling match based on subjective opinion because you'll just set yourself up for disappointment. And that's exactly
what they did.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what they did. They got 12 minutes. 12 minutes.
12 minutes of mediocrity.
WrestleMania match of all time. Yeah, so
I will point out the only things I liked in this match, Reigns hit a spear through the barricade to Lesnar that looked pretty nasty.
Cool.
And Lesnar broke out the Kimura for the first time in forever. Apparently Reigns got hurt from that.
It didn't look
so
good.
We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen, nor do I care right now. But WrestleMania is in the books.
Yeah.
Night one was fantastic. And after thinking about it and talking about it out loud, night one it gets a 9. Night 2 gets a 6.75.
Yeah, I'm going with a 9 and a 7, respectively. So rounding that out, you get about 16 out of 20. which if you do the Steiner math a little bit, there's a 33.5% chance that you get a 48% chance of getting an 8.8. I'm confusing
I
myself.
want to give this Mania all collectively. I'd give it a B.
Yeah, all collectively, this is an 8 out of 10.
A B plus.
Yeah,
This WrestleMania was a B plus player.
yeah. A B plus player. Yeah, this was the most fun I've had watching a WrestleMania since maybe
Probably 2019 when Kofi
I
Kingston won the title.
I had more fun watching this show than 2019 because Kofi winning the title was the only thing I was looking forward to, really. I mean, I had fun. I had fun watching 33.
I had fun with 2017. Yeah, 33 was fun.
Yeah, 33 was a lot of fun, but a lot of people are saying this is the best Mania since 31. I don't know if I can go that far yet. I mean,
I understand. I had fun with 33, but also there were some things on that show that made me mad, like Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt. Reigns being Taker rubbed me the wrong way.
mm-hmm.
And
it's too fucking long.
Yeah, too long. 34 rubbed me the wrong way with the main event, which is also Reigns and Lesnar.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about 2020. 2020 never happened.
Yeah, the error
And
404
I would have said
year.
last year if Danielson would have won the title.
Yeah.
If Danielson would have won the title last year.
But certainly a stupendous WrestleMania for sure. But yeah, we got a whole new calendar year and WWE season in the on the docket, and it all culminates with us two actually being at WrestleMania ourselves in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium, which is also going to be 2 nights. So
yeah, and if you thought if you could escape it last year, you're not. Next one is WrestleMania Backlash coming on May 8th. So that's the next current WWE pay-per-view review you're going to get from us. We've got the retros coming up with Survivor Series 03 coming up, and we're going to have a new poll for you guys.
Yeah.
This was a very long weekend, but a very fun weekend. WrestleMania is my favorite tradition every single year. And even though I am tired and I'm a little bit wrestling out, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Feel so fulfilled. And
Yes.
I mean, we're going to be exhausted by the end of night 2, WrestleMania Sunday next year, but I mean, it'll all be worthwhile.
Friendly reminder, 2 years ago, we didn't even get this. So despite all of our complaints, this was fun.
Oh, yeah. Fun to have a full crowd again, for sure. But, guys, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Thank you for watching all 2 hours of this damn podcast here and us talking about wrestling nonsense. But
hey, it was the most stupendous 2 hours in all of YouTube history.
Well, guys, see you guys for the next one, and commence that back talk.